93 in a row. Well over a decade of complete domination. The Alito Bearcats haven't lost a district game since 2007.
And nice cut out the back door. Roberts to the house.
In that span, 8 state championships and a dozen consecutive district titles. Tonight, that dominance is on the line. Mansfield Timberview presents the biggest district test Alito has had since the Bush administration. 6-0 on the year and in search of a win that would send shockwaves across the state.
Jones inside the 40, breaking tackles and spinning free.
The district championship game, Alito and Mansfield Timberview in a battle of state-ranked teams. Next. From Vernon Newsom Stadium in Mansfield, a district championship hangs in the balance as number 7 Mansfield Timberview, the 6-0 Wolves, host number 2 Alito, the 4-1 and 2-time defending state champion Bearcats on Friday Night Football. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Mansfield. Mike Leslie joined, as always, by a socially distanced John Diarse, the former TCU and LSU wide receiver, and we've got another week of fantastic football for you here on Friday Night Football. The district championship in 5-5A Division II, number 2 Alito and number 7 Mansfield Timberview. And this is a game, John, that kind of feels a little bit like a heavyweight title bout. Alito's the established champion. They got all the belts. They've got 9 state championships to their name. Timberview comes in as a very promising challenger, 6-0 on the year, the first 6-0 start in school history, and looking to make an upset tonight.
Absolutely, Mike. I mean, you hit it right on the money with the heavyweight fight. I mean, I immediately thought about the Creed movie, Adonis Creed and Victor Drago. I mean, 2 guys just going at it. But, I mean, this game is for all the marbles. It's the district championship. This is exactly what we expected. Like you mentioned, Timberview coming in as that challenger. They've kind of been, quietly winning, quietly building confidence, where Alito comes in as an established program. So tonight ought to be a pretty special night tonight.
That's how you know this is a young man. He immediately went to the new age Creed movies, not the old school Rocky movies, to make a David versus Goliath
Absolutely.
reference. I love it. Timberview has a fantastic defense. Terrell Tillman, Ram Stevenson, their defensive ends, Landon Hullaby, their safety. They are loaded on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, they're led by a kid, Simeon Evans, who has done a lot of really impressive things over the course of his career.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, their quarterback, he transferred from Bishop Dunn. And he won a state title there as a sophomore. I mean, so he's absolutely legit. He's an Army commit, so that means he has some brain, some intelligence to where he can add it on the field, and you'll definitely see it tonight. He's had 18 touchdowns in just 6 games. So, I mean, on average, 3 touchdowns a game, Mike. I mean, so this kid can absolutely score the football and be exciting to watch him again tonight.
Meanwhile, Alito is absolutely that juggernaut. 9 state championships in their history, 8 in the last 11 years. They've won 12 consecutive district championships and 93 straight district games dating all the way back to October of 2007. This is a night where that could potentially change, but it is still Alito. It's going to be a big task for Timberview to take these guys down tonight. What Alito does on the defensive side of the ball is very impressive. B.J. Allen, an LSU commit, but it's another LSU commit that we're talking about on the offensive side of the ball that is our player to watch for the Bearcats in JoJo Earl.
Absolutely, Mike. I mean, this kid, JoJo Earl, I mean, he's the guy. He's going to be the guy tonight. I mean, this guy can do everything. We'll see him catch some snaps at quarterback. He's the number 1 ranked receiver in the state of Texas, and he's committed to LSU, as you mentioned. So this kid can absolutely play. He can absolutely score the football, and he's going to have to do that tonight with the powerful Timberview defense coming up against him. So it's going to be an exciting night. A lot of heavyweight fighters out there tonight trying to secure this district championship.
Now, there is another wrinkle to Alito's situation right now, coming in off of a COVID quarantine. This game was originally scheduled for November 5th, had to be rescheduled until tonight because Alito had some COVID cases in their program, and where that is still having a slight impact on their program. They had 28 kids in quarantine at one point. They've got a few left, but a big one is one of those few kids that is left in quarantine, and that is their starting quarterback, Brant Hayden. He will not play tonight. That news news breaking just now. We were told that a couple of days ago. They've been trying to keep that under wraps until just right now, right before kickoff. But we do now we can tell you Brant Hayden, the starting quarterback for Alito, will not play this evening. Braden Fowler-Nicolosi will start in his place at quarterback, and you may also see Gael Castro in that spot as well this evening. With that, let's get you the starters for the visiting Alito Bearcats. Their offense led by Braden Fowler-Nicolosi. You'll see Ryan Williams and DeMarco Roberts in the backfield. Both of them will carry the football quite a bit this evening. Earl on the outside is fantastic. Jason Llewellyn, their tight end, by the way, also a super talented kid that can catch the football and make some big plays in the passing game. Alito's defense, led by Chris Wright, their defensive end, a 3-star commit going to UNT, and B.J. Allen, a 4-star commit on his way to LSU. Kid has some ridiculous speed. Meanwhile, for Timberview on the offensive side of the ball, Simeon Evans, we already talked about, fantastically talented quarterback. Deuce Jones, their stud running back, he is a bull in a china shop, and he will run you over if he needs to. Their receiving core also very impressive. Justin Kimber, who was injured earlier this year when we saw Timberview, back healthy and making plays, and he's a 3-star commit to UL Monroe himself. Defensively for Timberview, this is where this team really shines. Their defense is fantastic. Terrell Tillman and Ram Stevenson on the outside. Landon Hullaby, their stud safety. He's got offers from virtually every program across America. He is fantastic, a 4-star kid with 28 collegiate offers. Head coaches tonight for Alito, Tim Buckhannon in his 23rd year, 6 state championships in his back pocket, and going for a 7th and a 3rd straight this year. Timberview's head coach James Brown in his 9th year with the Wolves, 55 and 42 in that span, and off to their first 6-0 start in program history this season. Can Alito make it 94 straight and post a 13th consecutive district title, or does Timberview take down the champ? Kickoff is next on Friday Night Football.
Down 22. Deep ball from Towns for Jaden Chambers. Behind the defense. Nice move into the end zone.
Wow! Friday Night Football, live on the WFAA YouTube channel. Every Friday night, all season.
And a lightning strike from Darian Peace.
2 weeks from tonight, the season finale of Friday Night Football, as the number 1 team in 5A D1, Denton Ryan, hosts number 8, Frisco Lone Star.
Down 22. Deep ball from Towns for Jaden Chambers. Behind the defense. Nice move into the end zone.
Wow! Friday Night Football, live on the WFAA YouTube channel. Every Friday night, all season.
And a lightning strike from Darian Peace.
2 weeks from tonight, the season finale of Friday Night Football, as the number 1 team in 5A D1, Denton Ryan, hosts number 8, Frisco Lone Star.
Friday Night Football, live on the WFAA Digital Network from Newsom Stadium
In Mansfield, it is the District 5-5A Division II championship game between Alito and Mansfield Timberview, two top 10 teams in the state in 5A D2. John D.R.'s a fantastic matchup. Everything you could want for a Friday in late November.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. I mean, we got a lot of stars out on the field tonight, Mike. We got B.J. Allen, he's a 4-star. JoJo Earl is a 4-star. DeMarco Roberts, 3-star. And that's all on the Mansfield Timberview side. And on the Alito side, we got Deuce and Trey Jones. I mean, two twin brothers playing opposite sides of the ball, so that ought to be fun to watch. Terrell Tillman, just an absolute nightmare defensive end, Washington State commit. And, I mean, it's just a lot of firepower out there tonight. Even Landon Hullaby for Alito. I mean, it's just so many stars out here tonight, Mike. It's going to be a great night.
Hullaby, of course, for Timberview. The talent on this field is just immense.
Yep.
And you're going to get a chance to see some fun football over the course of the next 2.5 to 3 hours. It was Mansfield Timberview that won the toss with their captain Josh Atkins out there at midfield. Sam Foreman, the coin toss captain tonight for Alito. Timberview won the toss and deferred to the second half, so it is Alito football to start this one off. 10 win to kick it away for the Timberview Wolves, and B.J. Fleming deep to return. B.J. Fleming and JoJo Earl deep to return for the Alito Bearcats. A championship hanging in the balance, and we're underway at Newsom Stadium. Kickoff goes down the far right side, and it's going to be DeMarco Roberts, their running back, to take the kickoff return for Alito, and a little bit of running room for him across the 35, wrestled down at the 39, and we are off and running here in the District 5-5A Division II District Championship game. Alito, fresh off of a COVID quarantine. They missed 2 weeks of their season because of their own COVID cases and close contact quarantines as well. Then missed last week when they were eligible to play. They were ready to get back on the field, and their opponent had to cancel the game because of COVID. So it's been 3 full weeks since this Bearcats football team has taken the field, all the way back to October 30th. Their first snap from scrimmage right here, and it is Braden Fowler Nicolosi to start at quarterback for the Alito Bearcats. We mentioned it in the leadoff to the broadcast. Brant Hayden, their starter all season long, a sophomore, out tonight. He is still in that COVID-19 quarantine. Doesn't have COVID himself, but was a close contact to a case, so he is not eligible to play tonight, and he's at home, as you might imagine, as is their usual kicker, Clay Murador, out for the same reason tonight. So Braden Fowler Nicolosi, the starter at quarterback, Ryan Williams and DeMarco Roberts, their 2 running backs, JoJo Earl and B.J. Fleming, their 2 wide receivers, Jason Llewellyn, their starting tight end, is on 2nd and 5. Immediately in the backfield is the Mansfield Timberview defensive front. Coming through to make the play is Armani Caffey, and it's going to be 3rd and long for the Bearcats as a result. Caffey out there with Terrell Tillman and Ram Stevenson, the defensive line. Tristan McDonald, Javion Artist, DeMondre Green, and Kenyatta Smith, the 4 linebackers for Timberview. Jonathan Smith, Trey Jones, Landon Hullaby, Preston Starks, the 4 defensive backs for the Wolves. Big spot here now for Alito, and especially for their starting offensive line, which we'll give you real quick as they make their way to the line of scrimmage. Carter Miller, Gunnar Allen, Brady Wood, Grant Jeffress, and Maddox Epperson left to right. They need to create some time here for the junior starting quarterback, Braden Fowler Nicolosi, to push the ball downfield here on 3rd and 9. Deep over the middle and too high for JoJo Earl. Incomplete and a 3 and out for the Alito offense to start off. John, this is a team that you would excuse and understand being a little bit rusty coming into this football game, having not played since October 30th.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to take 3 weeks, and it's not, I think, and men, you kind of talked about it before, they took a really, really safe measure, Mike, and making sure that their kids stay as safe as they can with the pandemic that's going on. And so, yeah, they're going to be kind of rusty trying to get back into it. And tonight it'd be a great matchup to see where they are here against this Mansfield Timberview team.
Punt rolls out of bounds, a short punt by Caden Anderson. Mentioned it before, their usual kicker, Clay Murador, out this week because he's in that COVID quarantine still. He's their punter as well. So as Tim Buchanan, their head coach, said to me earlier this week, we had kicker tryouts all week this week to try and figure out who was going to kick off, who was going to kick PATs and field goals, who was going to punt. Caden Anderson won the punting competition. Ryan Teichman, the kicker and kickoff specialist. So, but it's been a little bit of a hodgepodge for Alito in their special teams game, and that could potentially have an impact this evening. 1st and 10 from the 34 for Timberview as Simeon Evans takes the snap out of shotgun. Deuce Jones to his left, the starting running back. On 1st and 10 from the 34, and the handoff goes up the middle. Little doing for, actually, it was Ricky Madison taking the first snap today at the running back position. Baron Loftus, Andre Williams, Titus Evans, Justin Kimber, their 4 starting wide receivers. And their massive offensive line left to right. Emeka Obigbo on the left side, 2 brothers, Zach Humes, Holly Gilliam, and Dayton Robinson. Center, right guard, and right tackle. 2nd down and 8. Evans over the middle, complete, has a man, first down across midfield. Sumerian Chambliss on the receiving end, and Timberview moves the sticks on their first possession. Alito's defense, Chris Wright, Matt Bell, Oliver Crow, Caden Anderson, the 4 down linemen, Cap Mooney, Sam Foreman, Keenan Hess, their 3 linebackers, Logan Flinted, Jaden Allen, BJ Allen, and Elijah Valencia, the 4 defensive backs. Low snap, but he's able to pick it up and throw near side, complete in the hands of Justin Kimber. And another first down for Alito. This is a receiving corps, John, that can get the job done. And they're just that much better than the last time we saw Timberview against Flower Mound earlier this season. Justin Kimber didn't play in that game due to injury. Tonight he's out there, and he's a difference maker for them.
Absolutely. I mean, they got to be efficient tonight. I mean, it is, all bets are off tonight, and guys have to make plays when their number is called. So great job right there of this receiving corps of making their job look easy.
And look at Simeon Evans make a man miss in the backfield and pick up a first down. He was dead to rights, John, and just made a man miss in the backfield. Looks like it was Sam Foreman that he beat.
Yeah, right there, just being elusive and just being the athlete that he is to pick up a huge first down right there, and just getting out of the pocket and making something out of nothing. So great job by Evans, and we're going to be able to see his athleticism all night tonight.
So 1st and 10 for Timberview. 8:40 here in the first quarter. They throw it near side, complete in the hands of Baron Loftus. Loftus up the sideline. Did he step out of bounds? Yes, he did, just barely at the 3-yard line. But it's 1st and goal, Mansfield Timberview.
Right there. I mean, it was almost picked off, Mike. It was a very, very, very close throw right there, but a great job right there. I don't know. It almost kind of looked like he may have stayed in, but great job by the officials there on the sideline of picking up him stepping out of bounds. So great job of moving inside the 5.
1st and goal here for Evans. 2 backs in the backfield with him. One of them is Deuce Jones. Takes the fake. It's going to be Evans to keep it himself, and he's in. Touchdown, Mansfield Timberview, and the Wolves strike first.
Just a great job right there, just running the read option, and we've been seeing this all season. These teams are really starting to pick up on this read option deal, and right there, Evans just doing what he does best, and that's getting into the end zone. Great job by that young man and capping off his first series with a score.
Now the swinging gate formation, and they are going to go for 2 here. Swinging on the right-hand side, and far too easy for Deuce Jones to make his way in, and an 8-0 start here for the Mansfield Timberview Wolves, number 7 in the state, 6-0 for the first time in program history, and leading the 2-time defending state champion Alito Bearcats, 8-0 in the early going here in the first quarter. A dream start for James Brown's team. Just shy of 1,000 of you watching with us right now on the WFAA YouTube channel. Please drop a comment in the chat stream and let us know where you're watching from tonight, whether you're watching from right here in the DFW area, or we've oftentimes had people watching from all across the country, tuning in to see grandsons and cousins and nephews, what have you. So let us know where you're watching from, who you're tuning in to see tonight on Friday Night Football as Alito and Mansfield Timberview play for the District 5-5A Division II Championship. Also, please click the like button, click the subscribe button on the WFAA YouTube channel. We've brought you a game here on Friday Night Football all season long. 1 game left in our Friday Night Football season. 2 weeks from tonight, we'll bring you back to Denton, where we were earlier this season for Denton Ryan, Denton Geyer. This time, Denton Ryan hosting the number 8 team in the state in 5A Division I, Lone Star, as 2 top 10 teams square off 2 weeks from tonight right here on Friday Night Football. But an 8-0 start for Timberview. And now Alito looking to strike back. And it's JoJo Earl on the kickoff return. Has a head of steam up the left side. Gets outside the numbers and outside the 30-yard line. A good return from the senior bound for LSU. And now an opportunity here for Alito, John, to find an answer.
Yeah, absolutely. They got to answer on this drive right here. It seems as if Timberview has not lost a step since we saw them. They are playing really efficient on both sides of the ball here early, and so it's going to be quite the challenge for Alito to pick up where they left off at. I know 3 weeks of not playing it does a lot to your rhythm and your chemistry, but they're going to have to find a way here early to get back on pace.
So 1st and 10 from the 31 here for Alito, and it will be JoJo Earl in there and a little wildcat quarterback look. You'll see them do this quite a bit over the course of the evening with as good an athlete as Earl is. And in talking with Tim Buchanan earlier this week about this this formation, this look that they give on the offensive side of the ball, I said, yeah, you guys will run JoJo out there in the wildcat from time to time. He says, we don't call it the wildcat. We just call it JoJo.
That's quite fitting. I mean, he is the guy, and that's definitely something that Coach Buck mentioned earlier this week, is that he has to touch the ball as much as possible. And this is one of the ways they like doing it. So I believe they'll have a lot of success with it tonight as long as he can get on the edge.
He was able to pick up 7 on the first play of the possession. Now here falls forward for a yard. They will do this with JoJo Earl. They will also do this a little bit with their stud free safety, B.J. Allen, who's a 4-star recruit and an absolute burner. Get him on the edge, and he can really run away from people. But Earl is the player, to your point, John, that they are trying to get the football as many times as possible in any given football game. Big 3rd down here, 3rd and 3 for Alito, trying to pick up their first down of the evening. And it is again Earl in there in the JoJo formation here at quarterback. Hesitation, waits for a block. Now he's into the second level, and JoJo Earl's across the midfield stripe for a 1st down for Alito.
Absolutely right there, just a QB counter right there, JoJo. He's seeing the hole. He made a great cut to get north and south. And, I mean, you can see his elusiveness right there, Mike. I mean, he's able to get north and south in a hurry. So, I'm going to make the assumption that, we're going to see the JoJo formation here a lot tonight as they pick up a new set of downs.
Jamal02 on YouTube says he's across the street watching us right now on Friday Night Football. We appreciate you joining us, my man. Deep over the middle, and that's a completion up the seam. It's B.J. Allen, their free safety. We mentioned they would use him some on the offensive side of the ball. You see it here, and that is a big, just a confidence builder for this backup quarterback, Braden Fowler-Nicolosi, just a junior, his first start for Alito, transferred in from California in the offseason. Their starter, we mentioned earlier, Brant Hayden, out this week because he's still in a COVID-19 quarantine. Doesn't have it himself, but had a close contact. He can't play this evening. Big play there, John, for Braden Fowler-Nicolosi to make a connection over the middle. Roberts here on the carry, picks up a few, but I mean, you just can't say enough. What a just to stand in. I mean, you've played the position as well. I know you played wide receiver in college, but you played quarterback in high school. Yeah. You know what that moment is, just to make a connection and just shake free some of the nerves a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of settles you down there, Mike. I mean, it's been your first start in the district game, and it's obviously a big game. And so I could imagine now that he's a little bit more calm and he's able to run this offense efficiently like they need to in order to score on this drive.
Roberts takes the handoff here on 2nd down and 6, slips 1 tackle as he hopped by a guy, and that'll be just enough for a 1st down. 1st and 10 for Alito, a much better possession here on their 2nd drive of the day. 1st and 10 at the 14 in Timberview territory as they try and answer that early Wolves touchdown run.
Yeah, Mike, it's going to get really interesting here play call-wise, because if you haven't noticed, they have been doubling JoJo Earl with both a safety and a corner. So, the options are becoming limited, but they're going to find a way to get in the end zone, I believe.
Roberts with the cutback, slips another tackle. He is a shifty runner inside. This is a young man that's going to play cornerback at Lamar. He's a 3-star recruit as a corner. Lamar, you might want to consider him at running back. He's got some skills and some elusiveness, and he's able to get 2nd level there, and it's 2nd down and a yard. Call it 2nd and 2 officially, as Fowler-Nicolosi has 2 backs in the backfield with him. Roberts trying to spin off the defensive front of Timberview. Maybe gained a yard. It'll be 3rd and short.
Yeah, this Timberview defensive front is just causing some havoc up front. I mean, you got Terrell Tillman on one side, Ram Stevenson on the other, and Big Kathy in the middle. I mean, they're definitely eating up this Alito front 5 offensive line, and so they're going to have to find a way to either attack the edge or get the ball in the air. So they're making it a little difficult, this Timberview defense for Alito.
3rd down and 2, and they bring JoJo Earl in at quarterback. And he's going to take it left side, trying to follow blockers, stumbles his way forward, and it looks like that will be maybe just barely enough, but enough, and it's 1st and goal for the Bearcats.
Yeah, pretty generous spot right there, Mike. I mean, he, stumbling, he fell forward for a 1st down, so great job of JoJo Earl of getting a new setup down, and I'm going to assume that they're just going to stay in their good old JoJo formation and try to put up 6 points on the board.
Especially when you can put Earl back there alongside DeMarco Roberts if you choose to do that, or Ryan Williams, their other running back. That makes it a little bit more difficult for the defense to decide where that football is going to go. And in fact, Timberview's going to call timeout here with 3:25 to play in the 1st quarter and talk over what will be 1st and goal from the 3-yard line for the Alito Bearcats. Mike Leslie, John Diarse here with you from Newsom Stadium in Mansfield. 40% capacity tonight here at Newsom Stadium, ordinarily an 11,134-seat capacity stadium. Tonight, 4,453, their max, as they enact their COVID protocols here at Mansfield ISD. Our director tonight on Friday Night Football is Clay Marshall, our photographer Dwayne Watkins, our digital coordinator back in-house Nick Blackhall, the technical director of Friday Night Football is Don Hazen, and our executive producer is Sean Hamilton. We do appreciate you guys being with us tonight here on the WFAA YouTube channel. Just over 1,100 of you watching now. Please share the feed around. Let your friends and family know in the Mansfield and Alito communities that they can tune in and watch what should be an absolute barn burner tonight between Alito and Mansfield Timberview. 1st and goal, Earl following blockers. That is too easy. Into the end zone, JoJo Earl, and Alito finds the answer.
Yeah, right there, Mike, just attacking the perimeter, attacking the edge. It's something that they have found success with here early, as Timberview, likes to stack the middle of the line of scrimmage with their big 3 up front. And so great job right there of Earl. Get on the perimeter, get north and south in a hurry, and finishing this series off with a score. So great job right there of capping off the drive.
We mentioned it earlier, the kicking game for Alito is a little bit of a question mark with their kicker out this week. But no issues there on the PAT, up and through off the foot of Ryan Teichman. And Alito strikes back. It's 8-7 in favor of Timberview. 3:21 on the clock here in the 1st quarter on Friday Night Football. I talked with James Brown, the head coach of Mansfield Timberview, before the game, John, and we were talking about the fact that Alito hasn't played in 3 weeks. And he said, yeah, I mean, you hope that they're rusty. You hope that they're rusty, James Brown said. But he said, they're still Alito.
Yeah.
They're still Alito. And no matter how rusty you may be, it's still Alito.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, anything can happen. I mean, we know how successful and how prominent their program has been over the years. I know we mentioned it earlier, 93 consecutive wins. I mean, so they know how to win ball games. They know how to get the job done. So, yes, I mean, if you are James Brown, you hope that they're rusty. But, I mean, if you're Alito, you got all the confidence in the world with the program that you have behind you.
The Alito Bearcats going for a 94th consecutive district win. They have not lost in district play since October 5th of 2007. They last lost in district play to Everman, 35-28. They actually lost back-to-back games that year. Lost to Stephenville and lost to Everman, both in district play that year. And then since then, 93 in a row. Look at this off the kickoff return. Baron Loftus up the gut, out to the 44-yard line, and fantastic field position here for the Mansfield Timberview Wolves, although a flag on the far side may change that. I see some of the players from Alito clapping a flag way away from the play. We'll see what our officiating crew has to say tonight on what is the first flag of the evening. I don't believe it's going to be in the frame. Based on where the flag was thrown, it was way on the far sideline by the hash marks. You can actually see it on the far left-hand side of our screen.
Perfect foul. Unsportsmanlike eye. On the return. Number 38. 15 yards. First down.
A little bit of an issue for the microphone there for Mike Ritchie, our referee, but a personal foul against Mansfield Timberview will dock him 15 yards. And just like that, there goes the great field position, John.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing to start on your 30, but, I mean, great field position. I really think if he would have kept his feet, I mean, he may still be running, Mike. So, but, you know, like I said, not necessarily a bad thing to start on your 30. So
on 1st and 10, Evans through the hands of Deuce Jones and incomplete. What's amazing about the Alito win streak, John, 93 in a row. Of those 93, 87 of them have been certified blowouts. 22 points or more, the margin of victory. Only 6 times have they even been within 3 scores of their opponent. Only 4 times was it a 2-score game, and twice it was a single-digit deficit. It has been 13 years of blowouts for the Alito Bearcats. They have played, let's call a spade here. They've played in some districts that weren't very good against a lot of teams that were middling to poor, if we're really being honest. But you got to beat who's on your schedule. Yeah. And the point that's worth making here, because I think a lot of people look at, Alito's playing a bunch of bad teams in district. Okay, there's some truth to that. Mm-hmm. But look at what Alito then continued on to do in 8 of the last 11 years. They won a state championship. So even if you put some really good teams in their district, apparently they were going to beat them anyway. And here, a lot of trouble for Simeon Evans, and he's taken down deep in the backfield. The sack. It's Jack Mitchell grabbing a hold of him and slinging him to the ground. Beg your pardon, it's 61, not 81. Oliver Crow with the sack. And a massive loss, John, and it's 4th down, and Timberview will have to punt.
Yeah, right there. I mean, as much as Evans wanted to get out of that, I mean, he was just in trouble. He had too many white jerseys surrounding him, and so he did his best to try to get out of that trouble. But it resulted in a sack, and, you know, here we are 4th and long, and, you know, giving this Alito offense another possession, but a very, very short kick there.
Yeah, I don't believe anyway that punt was blocked. I think it may have just gone off the side of his foot, and it's going to be fantastic. There's nobody even in the vicinity. I don't know if there's anything we can call that other than a straight shank out of bounds to the right. And fantastic field position for Alito. 1st and 10 at the 26 in Timberview territory. So out comes Fowler Nicolosi. And the Alito offense with 2 wides to the right on 1st and 10, and now whistles, I should say. And Alito's going to call timeout. 1,300 of us jumping on right now on the WFA YouTube channel. We do appreciate you guys joining us this evening. Please share the feed around. Let your friends and family know that we're doing the broadcast tonight and that they can tune in to see what should be a really, really good football game between 2 of the absolute best in 5A Division II. The Alito Bearcats and the Mansfield Timberview Wolves, the District 5 5A Division II championship game. We were talking a little bit about the Alito win streak, John. Last year, it almost got snapped. Yeah. Last year, pushed to overtime, Alito was, by a very good Midlothian team. 34-28, they won that game in overtime thanks to a fumble that they caused in OT. Otherwise, it may have ended a year ago, but continue on, it has. 93 in a row now. Now deep down the right sideline. Did he get a foot in bounds? Yes, he did. A beautiful ball from Fowler Nicolosi, and B.J. Fleming makes the catch. Right there, Mike. I mean, that's where their success is going to have to come tonight. I know they love the JoJo formation, but they're going to have to take some shots down the field to their receivers, and a great job by Fleming right there of coming down with the catch in traffic and getting a foot in bounds, and now giving themselves a fresh set of downs and 1st and goal. And Fowler Nicolosi can sling it around a little bit. This kid has come out here in a spot that maybe he wasn't expected to have a ton of success, and a couple of really nice throws, and they've got 1st and goal. Now back comes JoJo Earl out of shotgun, and he's going to follow blockers again to the right-hand side, picking his way forward, falling forward, and in. Touchdown, Alito, and the Bearcats take the lead. Yeah, here they go, Mike, right here with their JoJo formation of him just following his blockers and allowing his blockers to get out in front, very patient with his feet.
and then crossing into the end zone to put up 6 points on the board. So as we mentioned before, this Alito offense is familiar with winning. They know how to get it done, even in overtime, as we mentioned last year. And so here they are taking the lead here early. And so if you're Timberview, you got to get it going. You got to find a way to get the ball moving on offense because this Alito offense and this Alito team can play some ball.
Now Alito will go for 2. Fowler Nicolosi back in there. Fakes the handoff to Roberts, coming near side, wide open. Jason Llewellyn, and tack 2 more on the board. And Alito takes a 15-8 lead here with $1:32 to play in quarter number 1. It did look just a little bit like a rusty start for Alito.
Yep.
3 and out on their first possession, and then Timberview went right down the field on him, John. I think the rust is gone. They seem to have kicked it off now. Back-to-back touchdown drives, and they take a 15-8 lead.
Yeah, Mike, I think we can rewind back to that throw that we talked about to B.J. Allen early in a couple series ago, where it kind of gave Braden Fowler just a little, took a little pressure off. You know, he kind of got calm, kind of got, a little bit relaxed in that position. And so I definitely think the confidence is now up, taking the lead and getting a 2-point conversion there. So, I mean, this Alito team can play some ball, Mike, and so Timberview is going to have to find a way to match that energy.
As James Brown said it to us earlier this week, it's still Alito. And so far tonight, they have still been Alito. They answer an early 8-0 Timberview start with 15 unanswered and take the lead on JoJo Earle's second touchdown run of the day. A 3-yard Simeon Evans touchdown run started the night off. Just a little over 3.5 minutes in. Now back-to-back JoJo Earle touchdown runs. One from 3 yards, one from 2 yards. And Alito has the lead by 7. Short kickoff here and nowhere to go for Ricky Madison. Whistles here at the end of the play. It appears, though, no flag. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Timberview Wolves. Simeon Evans, their starting quarterback, a 3-star prospect on his way to Army. This is a young man who won a state championship, John. You made the point prior to the game starting that this is a kid who's accomplished a lot in his career. Talking with James Brown before the game, he said, there is no moment too big for him. This is a big spot, a district championship game, a chance to make history. If they were to beat Alito, it would be the first time in 13 years they lost a district game. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
He said there's no moment too big for this kid. He's ready for whatever Alito's going to throw at him, whatever the circumstances may throw at him. He's a pretty polished young man, and but still not easy to move the football against Alito's defense. So he's got to do some work tonight. Delay of game knocks him back. 1st and 15 to start the possession. Evans deep over the middle for Loftus and just a bit too far. You see DeMarco Roberts in there playing cornerback. That is his bread and butter position. That is where he's recruited to go play at Lamar next year. He's a fantastic corner. They have needed to use him more on the offensive side of the ball after the talent that they graduated last year left the cupboard a little bit bare at that running back position. But as you saw there, you will still see him play a little bit of defense over the course of the evening. Deuce Jones with the handoff here on 2nd down and 15 and nowhere for him to go. Give him maybe 2 on the play. It's going to be 3rd and 13.
Yeah, Mike, I think we're going to see a lot of that tonight. We just talking about DeMarco Roberts playing, both sides of the ball, and I think a lot of guys are going to play both sides of the ball as they've kind of dealt with, some availability or vacancy with the pandemic going on. A lot of guys switching positions, and so I think we're going to see a lot of that tonight.
So 3rd and 13 here for Timberview. 3 wides to the top of the formation here for Simeon Evans. The senior stepping forward, trying to run for it, makes the first man miss. Can he get the corner? Just enough for a 1st down. Sideline was looking for a flag as well for a horse collar. No laundry on the field, but a fantastic play from the senior quarterback to break, contain, and pick up the 1st down.
Yeah, Mike, I mean, you would have never thought he would make that cut. I mean, I don't even think Keenan Hess was anticipating that one. And so great job by Evans to use his ability, his scramble ability to pick up a new set of downs. And it looks like, Mike, they may have some momentum going here in this drive.
Evans coming near side, complete in the hands of Justin Kimber. Pushed out of bounds at the 47. Can't say enough about that play from Simeon Evans. I mean, That is a grown man play on 3rd and 13 where your team needs a play. You kind of need to stay on the football field and steal back a little bit of momentum. Big spot. And to the point we were making just a few moments ago, nothing's too big for him, and he showed it right there to help move the sticks. 2nd and 5 now, coming near side for Loftus and shooting the gap and making the tackle. That's a fantastic play by the Alito corner. That's Sammy Steffi.
Oh yeah, Mike, I think to even drive your point home even further about Evans, I mean, to win the state title and make a state title run as a sophomore, anybody who's won a state title, I mean, you know how much confidence that gives you in your bag, and we're talking 2 years removed now. Yeah. So we can only imagine how much he's grown, how much he's learned, how much he's developed as a quarterback, and we're able to see it here right there on that big 3rd and 13 where he converted it. So, I mean, this kid has it. This kid can do it. He's done it. And, excited to see it.
End of one here on Friday Night Football. 15-8, Alito in front. 2nd quarter right after this.
Down 22. Deep ball from Towns for Jaden Chambers. Behind the defense. Nice move into the end zone.
Wow! Friday Night Football, live on the WFAA YouTube channel. Every Friday night, all season.
And a lightning strike from Darian Peace.
2 weeks from tonight, the season finale of Friday Night Football as the #1 team. Back at Newsom Stadium, 3rd down and 9 out of the quarter break for Mansfield Timberview. Evans with the blitz in his face, firing it deep over the middle for his brother, and it's knocked away. Ranging across to knock the ball down is B.J. Allen. And Timberview is forced to punt.
Yeah, Mike, he had to get rid of that ball a lot sooner than he expected with Alito bringing some pressure off the edge there. And then we just saw the range of B.J. Allen to get over there and just get one mitt on the ball. To get him a nice pass breakup and force a 3-and-out right there for the Alito defense. So great job of Alito of turning it on here early, moving some guys around back and forth, offense to defense, and finding a way to compete here tonight. So great job by Alito right there.
Bearcats force the punt. Andre Williams with a line drive. Beauty of a punt. Earl retreats all the way inside his own 10 to grab it and is able to pick up about 10 on the return. That was as line drive as a line drive punt can be. I'm not sure it leaves the frame. Nope.
Nope, not at all.
All the way back to the 8-yard line to retrieve it. And for a line drive punt, John, decent coverage from the Timberview punt team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and then JoJo Earl right there. I mean, he only got 10 on the return, but as fast as he was moving, you never really know if he's going to get tackled or not. So great job of at least picking up 10 right there on the return.
And it will be Earl in there, a quarterback, to start the drive for the Bearcats. Patient, but nowhere to go. Maybe a gain of a yard. Earl on the year coming in had 29 receptions for 437 yards and 3 touchdowns, 33 carries for $185 and 3 more scores, 62 touches and better than 10 yards a touch over the course of the season. And with the absence of Brant Hayden, the starting quarterback for the Alito Bearcats, you imagine they might try and get him 62 more touches tonight. 2nd down and 8, and he's going to carry it on the outside. He's got the corner. JoJo Earl up the sideline, cuts back inside across midfield, and stumbles down to the 47-yard line. JoJo Earl showing off the scoots.
Mike, how fast is this kid really? I mean, moving right there, almost ran out of the frame. I mean, he's moving so fast. So great job by that young man of just getting on the edge, on the perimeter. They've had a lot of success there with him here early in the game. And so I would imagine that, they're going to continue to keep him in there, continue to keep his hands around the ball and let him do his thing. I mean, this kid is lightning fast.
Just barely, Trey Jones was able to get a hold of a shoestring and bring him down. And now here goes Earl again off the right edge, up the sideline, inside the 30-yard line. the JoJo formation, the JoJo play, and they just keep running it over and over again. This kid is special.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as great as that run was,
it's going to come back, though. 2 flags down.
Holding. Offense. Number 50. 10 yards. Final down. First down.
So the 10-yard penalty is going to bring Alito back to their side of the field. They'll spot it at the 46. It will remain first down, but first and looks like about 17. First and 16, I should say. Fowler Nicolosi back in there at quarterback. Roberts with the handoff. Head of steam straight forward, and he's able to get past the original line of scrimmage. Then set up second down and 9.
Yeah, Mike, I know we've been talking about JoJo Earl and his ability to run the ball, but, I mean, DeMarco Roberts is just as good. I mean, definitely a two-way player. I mean, like you mentioned before, Lamar may have to take a look at him at running back. I mean, because this young man can get north and south in a hurry as well. So, a great job, a great run right there to pick up some of that penalty yardage.
Second and 9 now. Fowler Nicolosi again with the handoff to Roberts. Well played by Tristan McDonald. James Brown, the head coach from Timberview, was telling me earlier today, I mean, they've got 2 kids on their defensive line. Terrell Tillman on his way to Oregon, Ram Stevenson on his way to Washington State, 2 Power 5 commits at defensive end. He said, this is an interesting game, though, for us because the 2 of them, they are pin your ears back and get to the quarterback type defensive ends. Yep. He said, against Alito, you got to stop the run. So he said, we're going to have to, these 2 guys are going to have to play in a little bit of a different way tonight. He said, they're capable of it, but it's a recalibration for them. This is a spot where they might be able to come after Fowler Nicolosi, though, on 3rd down and 7. He fires near side. It's complete to Earl, and Earl's up the sideline. JoJo Earl with touchdown number 3 of the day, and Alito opens it up.
They wasted no time getting him the ball. I know he came out for a couple plays to kind of catch his breath really quick because he's been doing a lot of damage here early. But, Mike, I mean, he's just wide open, just running a nice little 5-yard out and, you know, beat his man and then, you know, getting a great block up the field by Fleming right there and racing into the end zone for his 3rd score. So JoJo Earl is on fire here early tonight. And like we mentioned, it doesn't look like they had a lot of rust to knock off there, Mike.
22-8 after the PAT, and a fantastic response from Alito after falling in an early 8-0 hole. 22 straight from the Bearcats, and the 2-time defending state champions looking like it here in the early going on the road against Mansfield Timberview. See if we can take maybe one more look at the replay there on what was a 45-yard touchdown pass from Braden Fowler Nicolosi to JoJo Earl. And I'm telling you, I've been very impressed with Fowler Nicolosi, a junior who had never played for Alito, had no stats coming into this football game.
Yeah.
He's come out there and slung it around a little bit and made some plays for this team where they really needed him to.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely mentioned it. I know last week we were talking about how we get deeper, as we get deeper and deeper into the season and kind of inching up on playoffs, your reserves are going to become very important because, you know, unfortunately the virus isn't slowing down at all. And it's, you know, causing some guys some limited time and, you know, and it's had all type of effects on this season and teams. And so some of your reserves are going to have to step up. And Braden is not, you know, taking this chance lightly. He's definitely lighting up the air and he's getting his confidence underneath him.
3 touchdowns in 6 minutes and 18 seconds for the Alito Bearcats. And now Timberview needs to find an answer here. Kickoff return out to the 23-yard line. And back comes Simeon Evans and company after the return. I saw some comments earlier on the YouTube feed that Timberview needed a drive the last time they had possession. Certainly now, down 2 scores. Simeon Evans and company need to make something happen right now.
Yeah, they got to find a way. They got to find a way to get down the field and put up some points because Alito has, you know, caught some fire, caught some momentum, and they are not slowing down.
Evans slinging it near side. Baron Loftus on the outside. Loftus slips one tackle, through another one across midfield, and finally tackled down from behind Baron Loftus making the most of a wide receiver screen here, John.
Yeah, absolutely right there. I mean, you got to be able to make the first man miss, and right there, I mean, he just kind of raced by B.J. Allen just a little bit and broke another tackle, broke one more from B.J. Allen. So, you know, he's making the best of his opportunity.
Just like that, though, Timberview's now going to walk backward 5 yards, a false start. Ball was never, in fact, snapped. And about half the offense went running to the right side, so some confusion there on the snap count. I mentioned it earlier, the size of this Mansfield Timberview offensive line. It is comical how big they are across the front. I'll get to it here after 1st and 15 for Simeon Evans and company. Slinging it far side and too tall for his intended target, Chambliss. Gemetto Bigbo and Emeko Bigbo, they're two guys on the left side, left tackle and left guard. Gemetto is 6'4", 327. Emeka is 6'4", 377. Zach Humes at 6'2", 355. 6'2", 355 is their center. Holly Gilliam's the small one at 5'11", 295. And then Dayton Robinson, their senior right tackle, 6'5", 312. I mean, that is beef across the front. Evans coming near side here for Andre Williams, makes a man miss across the 45, inside the 40, and will make 3rd down rather manageable now here for Timberview. A big play here in the screen game again.
Yeah, I mean, great job of turning the screen into a big gain right there by Andre Williams. But just to go back to your point of the size of this offensive line, I mean, if you're Evans, you got to be pretty comfy back there in that pocket with all of that beef there in front of you making it happen.
3rd down and 2 here. Have to get to the 37 for a 1st down. Deuce Jones straight up the gut. Had the ball ripped out there for a moment. He was able to pounce back on top of it, and it looks like it is enough for a 1st down. And indeed it is. Under 8 minutes to play here. 2nd quarter on the WFA Digital Network. Friday Night Football. 22-8, Alito with the lead. They've scored 22 straight in this game after Timberview found the opening points of the game. Simeon Evans with a 3-yard touchdown run just 3 minutes and 33 seconds into this football game. Since then, it has been all Bearcats. Evans does a good job of just turning nothing into something.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just showing his athleticism right there, and because he was definitely in trouble. Great job of the defensive end right there, doing his job and staying in position. I want to say that's Jack Traglis. And so, I mean, just a great job right there, though, of picking up 5, even being stopped in your own tracks by Evans.
2nd down and 6 now. Evans looking up the seam, complete for Baron Loftus. 1st and goal, Timberview.
Mike, right there, I gotta use my new school term. That's what kids call a dot right there. The kids call it a dot. The kids that I train, they say, "Coach, watch me throw this dot." And right there, Evans threw a dot right up the seam for a big 1st down to Loftus, who has been having a pretty great half here in this 1st half.
I can only imagine the kids you train might be watching right now and just laughing giddy at that one. Evans keeping it himself, able to get the corner. Simeon Evans somehow getting to the end zone. He beat Cap Mooney in the backfield, and Timberview finds the answer they were looking for.
Yeah, right there. I mean, that's a great way to cap off a beautiful throw on the previous play. But again, right here, just watching Evans just use his athleticism, gave a great stiff arm, stayed in bounds, and got into the end zone. I mean, this moment is not too big for this kid. And even his uncle told us before the game started, watch my nephew, watch my nephew. And right there, Unc, you are definitely correct. This young man can play some ball, and they cut into this lead.
Extra point, though, is wide to the right and no good off the foot of Tin Win. So it'll stay an 8-point lead in favor of Alito, 22-14. Now, before I say this, I want to make it abundantly clear. It wasn't like it was all that hard a choice. They were pretty much 2 no-brainers. But I do love when we set up our players to watch, JoJo Earl and Simeon Evans tonight.
Yeah.
There have been 5 touchdowns scored. 2 by Simeon Evans, 3 by JoJo Earl.
Yeah.
I think we might have led you guys down the right path today.
Yeah,
Just maybe.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I mean, they are definitely both on fire tonight. I mean, but as we mentioned before, Mike, it's a lot on the line tonight. I mean, there's a 13 win streak, district win streak for Alito, and then there's, Timian Evans, who has, done it on a big stage before. So there's a lot on the line tonight. So our players to watch are definitely doing their job tonight. And so as you guys continue to tune in with us, I believe we're definitely going to have a shootout here tonight.
Just over 1,500 of you with us right now on the WFAA YouTube channel. Again, we do appreciate you guys being with us tonight. Drop a comment in the chat stream. Please click the like button, click the subscribe button, as we will bring you a Friday night football game we have all season long. We got one more left, December 4th, Frisco Lone Star and Denton Ryan. DeMarco Roberts here on the kickoff return. Ensnared at the 27-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Fowler Nicolosi and the Alito Bearcats offense. This game is very important, not just because these two teams want to be able to say they're district champions here in 2020, but also, John, from a seeding perspective in the postseason. Winner of this game, of course, the number 1 seed in the playoffs out of this district, the loser to the number 2 seed. And that matters, and matters big time, because the loser of this game, Week 2 of the playoffs, second round of the playoffs, served up on a silver platter to the number 1 Ennis Lions. Now, both of these two teams, please let me make sure this is clear, both of these teams can play with, and I would argue could beat the Ennis Lions. I'm not saying that, your season ends right there, but that is a much more difficult second-round playoff game than either of these two teams want to be dealing with here in a few weeks' time. Ennis last night with a very impressive 38-14 win over a very good North Forney team in their district championship game in 8-5A Division II. That Ennis team is loaded. They are a complete football team, offense and defense. Both of these teams are likely going to have to play them, one in the second round, one in the regional final, and those games will be fantastic. Of course, we could also see these two teams meet each other again in the region final, as on 2nd and 13, Alito's able to get back out to the 26-yard line. But winning this game and avoiding Ennis in the second round of the playoffs, I would say it's preferable.
Yeah. It definitely gives you, takes off a little steam as we get ready to go into the playoffs here in a short couple of weeks. So, I mean, you're definitely right. I mean, if you're, Alito or Timberview, you definitely want to win this game to avoid, a not so strong second round of the playoffs.
3rd down and 6 here. Fowler Nicolosi coming near side. Llewellyn going to have to do some work to get the first down, and he does just enough. Gets out to the 33-yard line and moves the sticks.
Yeah, absolutely. Right there, just attacking the flats right there against this Timberview defense. And, it's definitely open. And Alito is definitely exposing and getting the ball in that area. And right there picking up a big first down to continue to move the ball up and down the field as they have in the last couple of drives.
Final 5 minutes of quarter number 2 here of the District 5-5A Division II championship game. Number 2 Alito, the 2-time defending state champions in 5A D2. And the number 7 Mansfield Timberview Wolves, as this time it's Roberts, bottled up after a gain of maybe 2. See a question here from John Lasker on the YouTube feed saying how many teams from each region get into the playoffs. I imagine he means district. 4 teams from each district make it into the playoffs. That, comprises the 4 different regions around the state. And 6 rounds later, we'll have a champion. AT&T Stadium's just down the road. We can see it from here, as that is a fantastic throw and catch and a flag. JoJo Earl snagging it. It is indeed pass interference. I imagine they'll just take the result of the play. And 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line as JoJo Earl made a tremendous catch.
Now, Mike, this is very detailed about JoJo Earl, and this is why I know this kid is legit. This cornerback, this cornerback for Timberview had inside leverage on that short post route, and JoJo Earl was still able to win inside and come up with a catch. and catching it through traffic. So this kid is legit, ladies and gentlemen. He can play some football.
Now Fowler Nicolosi going for Earl again. No flag here, as again it was Earl and Todrick Dixon battling in the deep middle of the football field. Timberview 6-0 on the year, the best start in school history. The school opened up in 2004. They went 5-0 to start the 2013 season, but this year 6-0 surpasses that as their best start in program history. Looking for 7-0 in a district championship tonight as Roberts carries straight forward for 5. It'll be 3rd and 5 here for the Bearcats. Timberview's had some fantastic seasons in their history. 2014, they went 9-1 in the regular season, and in fact lost to that Ennis team that we were mentioning earlier. Obviously, this was several years ago, a different iteration of the Ennis Lions, but Ennis just the same in 2014 in the area round. And that Ennis team that they lost to just by 4, 17-13, that they had beaten earlier in the year, went on to win state that year. So Timberview was just that close to being a state champion in 2014. Roberts with a nice cutback here into the second level, spinning inside the 30 and wrestled down at the 22-yard line. DeMarco Roberts showing off his skills in tight quarters. He can make people miss.
Yeah, right there, just using his vision and getting to the edge where he has a lot of green grass to get to. And that's something that I would assume Alito is going to continue to attack. I don't know if you guys can see this, but they are doubling JoJo Earl. They have a corner right on top of him and a safety right on top of the corner. So they're depending on their other 9 to try to slow down DeMarco Roberts right there as he picks up a very, very big gain right there to set up a new set of downs. So a great job by that young man who is getting recruited to play corner. I mean, every time he runs the ball, Mike, I mean, he looks more and more like a running back to me. But great job by that young man.
Carter Miller, the starting left tackle for Alito, went down after that play. Back up on his own, under his own power, walking off. But we'll keep an eye on whether or not he can return to the football game. Elijah Flatton is listed as his backup. .233 to play here, first half. 22-14, Alito with the lead and looking to add to it here as Earl takes the snap from center and runs into a wall, but he's still on his feet. I don't know how he wiggled his way through all of that. He got hammered in the middle. Takes a big hit right there, but somehow spins off of Josh Atkins from Timberview and just keeps dragging tacklers, John.
I mean, Mike, his feet never stop moving. That's something that you hear running back coach say all the time. Keep the legs turning, keep the legs going. And right there, he did a great job of getting out of all of that clutter and, picking up a good 4 yards right there on first down.
Timberview football to start the half, so Alito bleeding the clock here a little bit late in the first half. Earl, this time with nowhere to go, and Josh Atkins pounces on top of him. And it's going to be 3rd and long. Fowler Nicolosi back in there, a quarterback on the passing down, 3rd and 9. We have not seen so far tonight Gael Castro, their senior backup quarterback. They thought maybe coming into the game that these two might exchange reps, but frankly, Fowler Nicolosi has played well from the jump, and they've kept him out on the football field so far. 3rd down and 9 with a minute to play in the first half, and he's taken down. The sack deep in the backfield, and it'll be 4th and a mile for Alito. And this time, you might even say, if you're a Timberview fan, finally, Terrell Tillman and Ram Stevenson get to the quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. That's their ball game, though, Mike. They are pass rushers, and right there, they wasted no time getting off the ball in a hurry. And so, that's exactly what you want to do if you're Timberview. Make them get into these long 3rd down, 2nd and longs where they have to pass the ball so that Tillman and Stevenson can do what they do best and get to the quarterback.
They don't have, statistically, 1/3 sacks. You got half sacks, of course.
Yeah.
But Tillman, Stevenson, and Armani Cathy, all three basically just met at the quarterback and took down Braden Fowler Nicolosi. A big loss on a big 3rd down there, and that moves, frankly, Alito, without their usual kicker, Clay Murador, probably wasn't going to be kicking any field goals tonight anyway.
Yeah.
Although I'll tell you what, Ryan Teichman put a pretty good foot on a couple of those PATs. Perhaps maybe they feel he's got a little bit of range. I don't think anyway they're going to be trying a 45, 46-yard field goal, which is what it would be right here. So instead it's Fowler Nicolosi to come back out on the football field out of shotgun on 4th down and 16 here in the final minute of quarter number 2. 2 wides to the near side of the formation. It's Earl in the slot. He looks the other way, though. Up the seam, complete for the touchdown. B.J. Allen on the receiving end, and Alito converts on 4th and 16 to put it in the end zone.
I mean, Mike, if you're going to slide in your next best player, what a time to do it right there on 4th and 16, throwing a nice post route to his man B.J. Allen to get into the end zone to cap off the half with the 4th touchdown score. And so, I mean, great job of calling timeout. Great play call. As we saw there, they had JoJo Earl double covered. But, I mean, you can't leave B.J. Allen backside one-on-one by himself.
Teichman's PAT is up and through, and Alito reestablishes a 15-point lead. 29-14 with 44 seconds to play here in quarter number 2. A 28-yard touchdown hookup from Braden Fowler Nicolosi to B.J. Allen, the 4-star safety on his way to LSU. But very clearly we've seen tonight has some skills on the offensive side of the ball as well. And Alito with a frankly important score, John, going into halftime, given that Timberview has the ball to start the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's exactly what you want. You want to continue to try to expand that lead going into the half, knowing that you're going to have to come out on defense. So great job of Alito, you know, controlling their offense, controlling their tempo, and getting down the field with, you know, plenty enough time left on the clock. So, you know, not really sure what Timberview is going to have to do to make some adjustments here coming out of the half, but this Alito team has not slowed down at all, not even a little bit.
44 seconds until halftime here on Friday Night Football. If you're a fan of the bands or if you know someone who is, perhaps send them the link and let them know, because we will bring you the halftime show from the Timberview High School Band under the direction of Eric Mullins and the Alito High School Bearcat Regiment Marching Band under the direction of Joey Paul. That's coming your way here at halftime in just a couple minutes. Short kickoff up the far right sideline. It's going to be Deuce Jones on the return. And he's taken down at the 28-yard line. Player down for Alito. It was the young man who made the tackle, and it looks like he may have lost his helmet on the play. And that's actually B.J. Allen, who just scored the touchdown. At minimum, of course, he'll have to come off for a play because of losing his helmet. But more than anything, you just hope that he's okay. See if we can spot where in the play he loses his helmet, whether it was before or after making the tackle. You can see, obviously, right here, he still has it on. But he gets, actually, that's friendly fire. Takes a hit from his own teammate and has his helmet knocked off. That's number 33, Garrett Key from Alito, that popped his own teammate, unfortunately. Well, hook and lateral here. Look at Timberview trying to make something. That was a dangerous play, but it works out. Titus Evans pitching it back, and Baron Loft is able to get outside and across the 40-yard line, and it's 1st and 10. 30 seconds to play here in the half for Mansfield Timberview. They do have one timeout remaining, and of course the clock does stop on a 1st down until they set the sticks. Might have been a false start there. No flag, and they fire it right side. Titus Evans makes the catch. 1st down. Clock will stop again. 24 seconds to play in the half. Tin Win, the Timberview kicker, they say he's got range about to 35 or 40 yards, so they'd have to get inside the 20 to make that a realistic proposition. They're at the 47 in Alito territory. Over the middle, complete. Deuce Jones inside the 30 and finally wrestled down at the 23. 13 seconds on the clock, and they'll race to the line of scrimmage. No timeout taken yet. Sticks are not set yet, so the clock won't wind. Now it does, and they snap the football. Evans, deep, End zone. And just a bit too far for his brother Titus, and incomplete. 6 seconds on the clock here in the half. Ball sits at the 20. They spotted at the 25 after that reception by Deuce Jones. So from here, it would be a 42-yard field goal. It appears anyway that James Brown feels that that's a bit too far, especially if there is any wind. There's not much, but if there is on what is a very comfortable night, by the way, here at Newsom Stadium, it's probably coming just a hair from our right to left, so that would be in the face of Tin Win as he would try a 52-yard field goal. So with 6 seconds on the clock, Timberview will call their final timeout and talk over one final shot to the end zone here, John.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the tempo right there by Timberview coming out with the good old hook and lateral. And, Mike, that's a play that you always practice that you never really want to use. And so for them to start off the drive with that, I mean, very unconventional, but, I mean, it got the momentum going for that drive. And then to come back with a nice hookup to Deuce Jones over the middle of the field, you heard the crowd here say, Deuce. And so it's a great job by this Timberview offense of just getting on pace, setting their tempo. I mean,
here's the hook and lateral one more time.
Hook and lateral right there.
That is
Come on.
Very dangerous hook and lateral.
Absolutely. I mean, but
there's traffic
they ran
everywhere.
Yeah, they ran it, and it worked. And so, you know, it's a great job by them. And right here, giving themselves plenty of time to take a shot or maybe even 2 shots to the end zone if they have a chance to get this ball up and down with 6 seconds left.
It would have to be a very quick play to get a second shot here. This is probably only time for one, but if they were to run a quick out, they could perhaps get in field goal range and step out of bounds. Evans with a low snap, steps forward, looking end zone, has to unleash it, fires, it's caught, but it looks like he was just short of the goal line. Did he get in? Are they saying he was in? Yes, he was! Touchdown, Timberview!
Wow.
Touchdown, Timberview. Take another look at this. Simeon Evans on the final play of the half. They give the touchdown. I'll tell you what, that is really, really close.
Yeah.
But making the catch for the touchdown is... It's Ram Stevenson. It's Ram Stevenson, their defensive end, making the grab on the final play of the half, and a lightning strike from Timberview. The extra point again, no good off the foot of Tin Win, so it will stay a 2-possession game. That's an important point right there, as it will stay 29-20. But look at this play again. Ram Stevenson, their stud defensive end, a Washington State commit. Your thoughts, John, on the ruling of a touchdown? Because that is it's real close.
It's very close. I mean, I know we don't have replays, but I mean, he did catch the ball over the goal line, but his feet were not down until he was back on the 1 or 2 yard line. So it's very, very close. Very, very, very close.
There's the freeze frame at the moment he makes the catch. And yeah, I think to your point, you could make the argument that at that point he has possession and he is beyond the goal line.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to take it.
Only just barely, but I'll tell you what, there was no hesitation from the side judge.
No,
he
not at all.
signaled touchdown immediately.
Yeah.
What a drive from Simeon Evans and the Timberview Wolves. Electrifying. And they find 6 points right before the half. We're seeing the comment feed light up right now. Ms. Jackson 38 says that was not a touchdown. Nick Jim Lawson says, I'm a TVU alum. I'm going to be honest, that was not a TD, though. It was close. It was close. Really close. If nothing else, a very exciting play to end the half. And Alito's lead trimmed to 9, 29-20 at the break. We're going to back on Friday Night Football, 29-20, our score at halftime in favor of the 2-time defending state champions in 5A Division II. The number 2 ranked Alito Bearcats, they lead. Number 7 Mansfield Timberview by 9 going into the third quarter. Timberview will have the football first to start the third quarter. They also had the ball, John, to end the second quarter in what was a tremendous drive to finish the half. The hook and lateral to start it off. Yep. A nice throw from Simeon Evans to his brother Titus Evans to pick up another big chunk of yards. Then Evans to Deuce Jones over the middle to get them down to the 25. And we'll show it to you now, the final play of quarter number 2. Simeon Evans rolling to his right and firing into the end zone to, of all people, Ram Stevenson, the Timberview defensive end on his way to Washington State. And we did double check, as there were a lot of you in the comment stream, of course, that were saying, that's not a touchdown, that's not a touchdown. The way the rule is written, and we'll keep showing it to you here, and maybe we can freeze it right at the moment that he makes the catch. In this circumstance where a player is coming forward out of the end zone, all that matters is that moment right there where he makes the catch. If the football is in the end zone at that moment, where his feet come down out of bounds does not matter. That is a touchdown. The official on the near side, the side judge, who is Mark Cohen, you'll see it here. He looks, sees that Stevenson did indeed possess the football, and immediately 2 hands in the air. There was no hesitation from the official on that side. That is a touchdown for Ram Stevenson. A 25-yard hookup from Evans to Stevenson. And that's what brings Timberview within 9 here at halftime, John. A sensational play, but a play that you don't see very often, that we had to kind of double check. Okay, what is the actual letter of the law here? Yeah. How does this work? And we did confirm with the officials. There was no hesitation from all 7 of them in the officials' locker room at halftime. That is absolutely a touchdown. And clearly, as we look at it over and over again here, they got the call right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even when you told me the rule, I was kind of surprised, because I know we talked about it a little bit, like, well, where did his feet land? Did he get 1 foot in the end zone? Well, they both out of the end zone, and so that, I think that's a really, really great call, and a really great point to make is that, you know, he was already in the end zone and he was having to come forward, and so you know, a great job of Evans of, you know, evading the pressure and then running down the line of scrimmage. I know that's something that's not commonly taught. And so that's just great awareness by Evans of knowing I got to stay behind this line of scrimmage before I let this ball go. And then to find Ram Stevenson, I mean, out of all people, Mike, I mean, Ram Stevenson in the end zone for a touchdown. And, I mean, that young man just making a big play of the night of bringing his team within 9 to start the second half. So, I mean, just a great job of capping off a great job before halftime for Timberview. Just about a minute to go before we start the second half here on Friday Night Football. Before we do so, let's get you some of the stats from that first half. Tell you what, a ton of credit to Braden Fowler-Nicolosi, the backup quarterback from Alito, thrust into action today because their starting quarterback, Brant Hayden, is in a COVID quarantine right now. 6 of 8, 144 yards and 2 touchdowns, a heck of a half from a kid who had not played a snap all season prior to tonight. JoJo Earl, 12 carries, 72 yards and a touchdown. To Marco Roberts, 12 carries and 56 yards for Alito receiving. Earl with 2 for 61 and a touchdown. Brian Allen, 2 for 52 and a touchdown. Brian Fleming with a 24-yard reception. Jason Llewellyn with a 7-yard reception. For Timberview, Simeon Evans, 12 of 17, 188 yards and a touchdown. He's also got 6 carries for 33 yards and 2 more scores. Baron Loftus, Deuce Jones, and Ricky Madison all with a couple of carries for minimal yardage so far tonight. Receiving for Timberview, Loftus 5 for 85 leading the way. Ram Stevenson, their defensive end, 1 catch, 25 yards and a touchdown, and a difference-making play in this football game. Deuce Jones with a catch for 22 yards. Samarian Chambliss a catch for 19. Justin Kimber 2 for 16. And Andre Williams and Titus Evans both with a catch in the first half for 13 and 8 yards respectively. Timberview football to start the second half here. It will be Ryan Teisman to tee it up and kick it away for the Alito Bearcats. Deep to return for Timberview, Landon Hullaby and Preston Starks. Baron Loftus also deep to return for the Timberview Wolves. Down by 9 at halftime, but with an opportunity here, John, with the first possession of the half, to carve into this Alito lead perhaps a little further. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is their first drive coming out of the half, and so it's very important drive that they come out and score here early because, you know, as we alluded to in the first half, Alito hasn't lost a step, even, you know, having to, you know, take 3 weeks off due to quarantine protocols and everything, and so they have not lost a step. And so right now, in this moment, in this drive, Timberview has to find a way to answer in order to stay in this game because Alito has, like I mentioned, not lost a step, and they've been on fire all game. Alito fell behind 8-0 early on, then ripped off 22 straight to open up a 22-8 lead. JoJo Earl with their first 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 1 receiving. Simeon Evans with all 3 touchdowns in the first half for the Timberview Wolves as he rolls near side, finds a man. It's Loftus, open, first down, a completion of 12, and a good start to the half here for Timberview.
Yeah, right there, Evans just getting out on the perimeter like he's good at doing and keeping his eyes downfield and finding Loftus. I mean, Loftus has been his go-to target tonight. This young man is catching every ball in his vicinity, so great job right there picking up a new set of downs.
First and 10. Play action. A lot of pressure in the face of Simeon Evans, and he was knocked off his spot before he could even finish throwing the football. Evans and our official, Mike Ritchie, talking back and forth. I'm not sure what Evans was trying to get clarification on. It didn't appear that he was complaining, per se. I mean, he was just hit as he threw. There was a routine play, but it did seem like he was trying to get some sort of clarification from the referee here prior to 2nd down and 10. And now ball's on the deck. Evans lost it. Can he get back on top of it? It doesn't look like it. Alito had a lot of bodies in the area, and it's Bearcat football. Evans tried to hand the ball off. Some miscommunication perhaps here between he and Deuce Jones, and it bounces off the knee of Evans. And Alito pounces on top of the football. Caden Anderson with the recovery, and the Bearcats with a huge play, John, here in the first minute of the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, absolutely right there. Just like you said, mishandled ball right there in exchange between Evans and the running back. And so right there, I mean, you can't have that. You can't have that if you're Timberview, knowing how dangerous this Alito offense is. But great job of Alito, creating a turnover right there.
Caden Anderson with the recovery, and now here comes JoJo Earl on 1st and 10. Fighting his way for 5. Wind starting to pick up here at Vernon Newsom Stadium in Mansfield. 11,134 the normal capacity here in Mansfield, but they're capping it at 40% here in Mansfield ISD, so about 4,400 our capacity tonight. I would say a good deal less than that here in-house this evening. 2nd down and 5. Roberts on the handoff, fights his way through the second level, steps through another tackle. He's inside the 20. DeMarco Roberts is difficult to bring down.
Yeah, I mean, again, this kid is getting better and better each handoff he gets. I mean, he's really, really patient right there with his feet, allowing the hole to open up. And once he saw it, Mike, he just hit it and got north and south right there, picking up a big, big first down. So great job by DeMarco Roberts, a future cornerback for Lamar University. I mean, right there in your front screen, picking up a first down.
1st and 10 at the 13. Roberts. 4 more. Timberview finished the first half in brilliant fashion. The 25-yard touchdown pass as time expired from Simeon Evans to their stud defensive end, Ram Stevenson. But the fumble here in the early going by Evans, recovered by Caden Anderson. And now Alito's inside the 10-yard line, just past 2 minutes in here to the 3rd quarter. Fowler Nicolosi, hands off. Roberts fighting forward. Leg drive has perhaps enough for a first down. And they will indeed move the sticks. It's going to be 1st and goal, Alito.
Mike, I got to say, this Alito offense is finding a way to get their running game going. And, I mean, as limited as they are in the passing game, they have no problem getting north and south and picking up, 5 yards a pop on these runs. So great job to their run game that's picking up and getting going here.
They're going to try it again right up the gut with Roberts fighting his way forward. Looks like they're going to mark him just a hair shy inside the 1-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and goal. Only about a foot away from the end zone here for Alito, trying to reestablish a 2-score lead. Roberts, easy, cuts to the left and in. Touchdown, Alito.
Like you said, Mike, I mean, it's really easy right there. I mean, Timberview is expecting him to come right up the middle, but DeMarco Roberts in his vision is able to get to the edge and just walk into the end zone untouched to increase this lead here in this ball game.
You said it, John. Vision.
Yeah.
That is something that you wouldn't expect, frankly, from a kid changing positions here for his senior year to play running back. But he just sees the field very, very well. And now they're going to go for 2 here and try and open up a 3-score lead. JoJo Earl coming near side, stretching to the outside. Did he get in? Yes, he did. JoJo Earl just barely getting to the pylon, and Alito tacks 2 more on the board. And that's a big 2 points because it's now a 3-possession lead for the Alito Bearcats.
Yeah, Mike, I mean, they just enforcing their will in the run game. I mean, JoJo Earl right there stretching for the pylon and getting it. And, I mean, if you're able to see the sideline for Timberview, I mean, it just kind of took the wind out of their defense right there for Alito to drive the field after a turnover, score points, and then earn an extra 2. It just kind of takes the life out of you a little bit, making this a 3-possession game. But we still have a lot of football left to play, and Timberview still has a chance to get back into this ball game.
That was one thing that James Brown said to me earlier today, specifically about Simeon Evans and the player that he is. He was talking about how he just doesn't get rattled. There's no moment that's too big for him. We mentioned that earlier. But to expand upon that, he said, whether we're up big, down big, it doesn't matter. He said, we used to be, in years past, we'd ride the highs and lows real in a big way. He said, with Simeon, we just kind of stay even keeled. Yep. He said, if we're up big, he's always pushing us to try and do better and expand the lead. If we're down big, he's the guy that's pushing us to be able to make a play and get back into the football game. Bobble here on the kickoff return, but it's scooped up and returned nicely by Jarvis Reed. Out to the 33-yard line, 1st and 10 for Timberview.
And, Mike, I think that's a really good point that you made right there, just staying even keel. I mean, as we've spoken many times about Evans, I mean, winning the state title as a sophomore, that's a large confidence booster. But anytime you can have a quarterback like him or any quarterback of that nature stay even keel throughout a ball game, that's always an advantage and a plus to your team.
We'll see what he can do now, down 3 scores. Firing near side, and it's intercepted. Picked off on the near side. It's Jaden Allen, the freshman, with the pick. The younger brother of B.J. Allen, the 4-star recruit on his way to LSU. That's a freshman that has an offer from LSU, and that's a little bit of why right there. A fantastic catch for the interception, and it's Alito football.
Yeah, Mike. I mean, if you're B.J., you got to be on fire right now. Little brother out there making a big-time play right there to create the 2nd turnover. And it seems as, Titus Evans just kind of lost his balance trying to run a little stop right there. But, I mean, as we referred to, Jaden Allen just did his job and broke on the football to create another turnover.
So 2 turnovers for Timberview on their first 2 possessions of the half. Now an incomplete pass on the far side as they tried to find JoJo Earl. $1,700 of you with us right now on the WFAA YouTube channel. Again, please click the like button on this post. And click the subscribe button as well to the WFAA YouTube channel, as we've brought you a game here on Friday Night Football every week all this season. We're off 1 week from tonight, but 2 weeks from tonight, the season finale of Friday Night Football, as we bring you Denton Ryan, the number 1 team in the state in 5AD1, and Frisco Lone Star, the number 8 team in the state at that level. 2nd down and 10, and nowhere to go here for DeMarco Roberts. And it's going to be 3rd and long for Alito, and this, John, feels like a must-stop for Timberview.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now you're down 3 scores, and so you got to find a way to create more possessions. And I know that's something that we've been kind of harping on here the last couple of weeks on Friday Night Football of just which team can find ways to create more possessions, because the teams that we've been watching week in and week out have no problem scoring the football. And so right now in this drive, on this play, Timberview has to find a way to get off the field.
3rd and 9. Fowler Nicolosi looking right side, and it's intercepted. Picked off on the far side, and coming back the other direction is Preston Starks. Preston Starks may take it to the house inside the 5. The ball came out at the end of the play. Is that going to be a touchback? The officials conferring. Did that ball come out at the end of the play before he was down? It did. It's a touchback.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm not sure. Timberview celebrating on the near side. I don't know if they've seen the ruling yet. Watch this again as Preston Starks brings it up the far sideline. A fantastic hustle play from DeMarco Roberts, chasing him down, and this ball comes loose before he gets to the goal line. That is correctly called. That is a touchback, and it's going to be Alito football at the 20-yard line. James Brown is incensed out on the field discussing with the officials, but you can see it right there clear as day. The ball is out. He is not to the goal line yet. A massive play. What easily could have been, at minimum, John, 1st and goal Timberview.
Yeah.
If not, a pick 6. And instead, the ball comes loose of Preston Stark's grasp just inside the 1-yard line.
Wow.
And it's a touchback, and it's Alito football. And now Timberview's going to have to burn a timeout, it looks like here. They did not have 11 men on the field. Landon Hullaby was jumping up and down on the 25-yard line, trying to get the attention of whoever it was that they were missing on the field. Neva Nyangaresi came out on the field at the last moment. I'm not sure if it was him or somebody else, but he saw what was happening, ran out on the field at the last moment to give them 11 players on the field. But Timberview burns the timeout, and that gives James Brown an opportunity to talk to the officials a little bit further about the previous play. Look at this one more time. And there's one other thing that we should probably take a peek at here if we can run this back a little bit further. Was he out of bounds before he lost possession of the football? Maybe not that step, because by that point he's already losing possession. Was he out of bounds at any point earlier in the run back? It doesn't look like, not at that point. Maybe if we can run it back a couple more steps just to make certain that there wasn't a point earlier in the, he's inbounds that whole way.
Yeah.
He's inbounds the whole way, and by the time that left foot steps on the 1-yard line, the ball is out.
Yeah.
Prior to getting to the goal line, correctly called by our officiating crew, Mike Ritchie, the referee, Tim Hendricks, the umpire tonight, on a 7-man crew. Mike Grissom, Curtis Millette, Tam Lee, Mark Cohen, Rob Ritzel, rounding out the 7-man crew and doing a fantastic job on what have been some, frankly, John, bizarre plays, and they've been Johnny on the spot to make the call correctly.
Yeah.
And a touchback there gives the ball back to Alito after the interception by Preston Starks.
I mean, right on time with just saying that Timberview needed to cause a turnover, create an extra possession for their offense, and you get the play, almost the play of the night, a pick 6 almost, but that's the trouble that you run into when you're diving for the pylon with the ball in one hand. I mean, that ball comes out, and it's out clear as day before he even gets to the pylon. And so, tough loss right there. Great play by that young man.
Tell you what, great play, too, by DeMarco Roberts.
Yeah.
Chasing him down, all effort.
Yep.
And he got to him just in time. Now it's Roberts carrying here on 2nd down and 8. Maybe another yard or 2. Midway point of quarter number 3 here on a Friday Night Football. Mike Leslie and John Diar's here with you. Clay Marshall, our director. Dwayne Watkins, our photographer. Nick Blackhall, Don Hazen, Sean Hamilton, the balance of our crew on Friday Night Football on the WFAA Digital Network. Newsom Stadium, our site tonight for the 5-5A Division II championship game. On 3rd down and 5, throwing it right side. Earl makes the catch right at the sticks. And it looks like he will have enough, just barely, to move him.
Yeah, that's a play that we saw earlier, Mike, just a little 5-yard out and a go right on the outside by the outside receiver. So great job of picking up a first down, getting a new set of downs, and, you know, kind of saving themselves. I mean, if you're Timberview, you got to find a way to do it again. This is where championships are won, when your defense can play lights out. And so, like I said, they got to find a way to get off the field on this drive here, Mike.
1st and 10 handoff for Roberts up the middle. And you think about what Alito's done tonight by putting 37 points on the board. So far this season, prior to tonight, Timberview had not given up more than 28, and that was last week against Dripping Springs, a game that they led, if memory serves, 45-6 at halftime. The lion's share of those 28 points were scored in the second half when they had already pulled their starters. This is not a defense that has given up many points all season long. 6-0 on the year, and their defense has been a big part of why they've gotten off to the first 6-0 start in Timberview history. But 37 on the board tonight. Now a little reverse here for Earl. And frankly, a great job by Timberview, John, to stay home. Terrell Tillman was there. Their entire defense played that quite well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you couldn't ask for it to be played any better. If getting penetration through the offensive line right there, Armani Cathy is a guy that got that thing started, you know, piercing the offensive line and creating some disruption in the backfield. So great job by that Timberview defense of everybody staying at home and creating another third down, another opportunity to make a play to where they can get off the field and get the ball back into their main man's hand, Simeon Evans, to see if they can cut down on this lead.
It's a well-coached unit. Rick Rendon and Menson Holloway, the 2 defensive coordinators for Mansfield Timberview, and their unit did a nice job right there on what could have been a very difficult play to defend. Now nearly intercepted over the middle. Javion Artist had it in his grasp, but it just jumped up and surprised him, John.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just kind of get, you know, find yourself in no man's land right there. And I mean, great job of breaking on the ball. Just got to finish it right there. Just got to finish that play. That's a play that you need right there.
That's a play where both the players involved really didn't see what was happening until it was too late. Braden Fowler Nicolosi never saw Javion Artist. He's eyeballing JoJo Earl the whole time and throws it over the middle. Never saw big number 32 standing there. And Artist, by contrast, just never saw the ball fast enough to be able to make a play on it. Punt takes a big Alito bounce down inside the 15-yard line, and it's going to roll all the way inside the 10. That's going to go down as a, let's see, how quickly can I do math here? 16 and 42, a 58-yard punt.
I see you. Math skills right there. Yeah, Mike.
I should have done it faster if we're really being honest. But especially for an Alito team that had so many question marks coming into this game as it relates to the special teams game because of their kicker, Clay Murador, being in a COVID quarantine right now. That's a play that Tim Buchanan will take and run with it. Deuce Jones on the first play of the drive, able to maybe gain a yard. Alito comes up with the football, but the line judge on the near side's definitive that the play was already over with. Timberview in need of a drive here and points in a big way. Now down 3 scores, 37-20, after the early touchdown run by DeMarco Roberts here in the third quarter. Evans with a ton of pressure, ball's out again. He was able to get back on top of it this time, but it's going to be 3rd and a mile.
Yeah, Mike, this Alito defensive front is getting to Evans and getting into the backfield and creating so many disruptions. I'm not sure if there's a breakdown in protection. I'm not sure if, you know, Deuce Jones is supposed to pick up someone, but there's a lot of pressure on Evans to get out of that pocket in a hurry. And right there, almost giving it away for a 3rd turnover almost.
Matt Bell, big number 97, leading the charge there on the pass rush. And what is perhaps concerning if you are James Brown, the head coach, is that they're getting pressure with 4. Set up the screen pass here for Baron Loftus, but he's chased down from behind. And it's going to be 4th down, and Timberview's going to have to punt it away again.
Yeah, right there, just trying to get the ball out on the screenplay. I mean, it's 3rd and long, so your play calling is very limited. But just Alito just rallying to the football, Mike. I mean, every single time I've looked up, there's white jerseys all around the football, and that's just great defensive pursuit right there by Alito, finding themselves in a position in the ball game to where they're up 3 scores. They've created a 3-and-out, and now they're giving the ball back to their offense, who's been just having a dynamic run game effect in this ball game. So great job by Alito of finding a way to come out of a 3-week quarantine rest and, capitalizing on the big lead here against Timberview.
That's always the big question of rest versus rust, John. You know, what is going to be the effect on your football team? There was maybe you could make the argument, I suppose, in the first quarter that there may have been a bit of rust. Alito came out with a 3-and-out, but at the same time, it's one possession. Teams go 3-and-out to start the football game all the time. I don't know if it's really fair to call that rust. And given what Alito has done since then, apparently no rust to be found. This is a really good football team that has played fantastically this evening. And the defense has done the job here in the third quarter. 2 turnovers created already, the 3-and-out there. And now back to work goes to Marco Roberts, coming near side, run out of bounds. Maybe a gain of 3 on the play.
Now, Mike, I will say there's been a bit of a trend here lately in football. It seems to be whichever team, executes the most in the third quarter typically comes out with the win at the end of the ball game. And it seems as if Alito has taken total control of this third quarter and increasing his lead.
2nd down and 7 here for Fowler Nicolosi. Handoff, Roberts. Give him maybe 3 more. He never stops churning his legs, John. He's always got the leg drive going.
So I said, I don't know, Mike. I mean, he may have, a running back in his future as he's committed as a cornerback to Lamar University. I would definitely think he may be a 2-way player there as well.
It is amazing, though, when you think about the interception returned by Preston Starks and the fumble through the end zone for the touchback, how much different this game could possibly be right now here late in the third quarter. Whether he scores on that play or if it ends up being that he's down inside the 5, 1st and goal for Timberview, it could very well be a much tighter football game if that play just doesn't bounce against Timberview. We'll see if they can make a stop here on 3rd down and 3, firing it right side, incomplete. And you'd imagine that Alito would probably be a bit conservative here and punt the football away. 4th down and 4 at the 49 on Timberview's side of the field. So perhaps in that kind of gray area of 4-down territory, but it looks like they will bring the punt unit on and play the field position game with a 3-score lead.
Yeah, absolutely, with their last punt totaling 58 yards and pinning them inside the 10. I mean, I would definitely, with the wind to my back as well, I would definitely take the opportunity to punt and flip the field position because those plays are just as important as a touchdown throw or a touchdown run, being able to flip the field in the special teams unit.
Anderson this time has his punt check up at the 16-yard line, rolls back to the 17. Then back comes Simeon Evans and company. Down 37-20. We've talked about it a little bit this evening, just how poised this young man is and what he's accomplished over the course of his career. The senior quarterback for the Timberview Wolves, a 3-star prospect, committed to Army, won a state championship as a sophomore as the starting quarterback at Bishop Dunn. This past offseason, transferred here to Mansfield Timberview. He and his brother Titus, the sophomore wide receiver. And they have been a huge jolt of life to the passing game here for the Timberview Wolves. They go to the ground here to start this possession for Deuce Jones, who frankly, John, we saw this team play against Flower Mound earlier this season, and it was the Deuce Jones show. He had a fantastic night. Tonight, frankly, credit to the Alito defense. They've been able to bottle him up pretty well. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, they've done a great job of just keeping everything in the middle of the field and being able to pursue to the football. So great job by Alito defense.
12 minutes on the clock, 1 quarter to play. Alito with a 17-point lead, headed to the 4th on Friday Night Football.
22. Deep ball from Towns for Jaden Chambers. Behind the defense. Nice move into the end zone.
Wow! Friday Night Football, live on the WFAA YouTube channel. Every Friday night, all season.
And a lightning strike from Darian Peace.
2 weeks from tonight, the season finale of Friday Night Football, as the #1 team in 5A D1, Denton Ryan, hosts number 8 Frisco Lone Star.
.49 points scored in the first 2 quarters, just 8 in quarter number 3, all of them by the Alito Bearcats, and they lead at 37-20 as we start off the 4th quarter. He'll have enough, maybe just enough for a first down. Looks like he's right at the first down marker. Timberview down 3 scores because of the 2-point conversion that Alito was able to convert after the DeMarco Roberts 1-yard touchdown run. Alito opened up the half by creating a fumble. Simeon Evans bounced it off his knee. Alito pounced on top of it. Caden Anderson with the recovery. That led to the DeMarco Roberts touchdown run from a yard out to make it 35-20. Alito elected to go for 2. And that opened this up to a 3-score advantage. Nice run here by Simeon Evans. And it looks like that will be enough for another Timberview first down. But John, they need to be in a hurry right now because of those two crucial points, and kind of a sneaky call. I kind of feel like from Alito head coach Tim Buchanan. You don't often see somebody go for 2 in that kind of scenario.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it, in any way, shape, or form, perhaps caught Timberview off guard. It kind of caught me off guard as we were standing here talking about that previous touchdown from Roberts. Those 2 points are huge because it makes the hill just that much taller for Timberview to climb here in the 4th quarter. Evans on 1st and 10. Pressure in his face, and he's taken down. Alito's pressure has gotten to Evans all night long, and it's Chris Wright, the UNT commit, with the sack, and it's 2nd down and a mile.
I mean, great job right there, Chris Wright, just using his speed on the edge and getting to Evans. I mean, they have been giving him some trouble here in the second half in the pocket. And so just a great job by the Alito defensive, creating a sack and a tackle for loss. I mean, to make the field even further for this Timberview offense to drive the football. So great job by them. And to go back to your point, Mike, I mean, to create 2 scores off of 2 turnovers are major. And then to put a little salt on the wound by adding a 2-point conversion to it only makes it that much more difficult. So great job by Alito.
Evans able to fight his way back to the original line of scrimmage. Set up 3rd down and 10 here. Quick shout out to a young man in the chat stream right now that Alito fans will remember quite fondly. Money Parks, a wide receiver for this team, basically the opposite side of the formation to JoJo Earl last year on Alito's state championship winning team. Money Parks hanging out in the YouTube stream right now and in the comment feed. As Evans throws right side, low throw, but a nice catch. That was indeed held on to by Andre Williams. And he is slow to get up after making the catch. He got kind of awkwardly crumpled as he made the grab right at the midfield stripe. It'll be 1st and 10 for Timberview, but one of their key targets still down, and you see he's kind of kicking his right foot against the turf. Andre Williams, the senior, an explosive player for this Timberview offense, but in a lot of pain right now, being tended to by the Timberview trainers, Trevor Smith and Kristen Campos. It looks like head coach James Brown is out there with him as well. Quickly back up on his feet, though. That's a good sign. He certainly looked like Johnny was in a lot of pain, but to see him back up on his feet and walking off under his own power is definitely encouraging. He's kind of waving to his teammates. It certainly seems as though he's saying, I'm fine, He's got to go off for a play, of course, because he stayed down, but he is kind of looked like he was maybe holding his left shoulder a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's kind of working it out now. He's a little bit off screen, but he was kind of winding his arm in circles trying to loosen it up. But you hope that Andre Williams will be able to make his way back on the field here in just a little bit. 1st and 10 for Timberview at the 49 on Alito's side of the field. 9 minutes and 40 seconds to play in a 3-score game. Evans, pump and go, looking deep up the near sideline. Justin Kimber behind the defense, and it goes right through his hands.
Mike, that's the one. That's the one. That's the play that you got to take late in this ball game to call a double move, a little out and up right there. And Kimber's just got to – he got to finish it. He has to finish that play. Those are missed opportunities that could change a ball game dramatically. But, you know, great job, great ball by Evans. And then, you know, to tack on to the incomplete pass, a holding call. So, I mean –
I guess in some ways maybe that's the saving grace for Justin Kimber is the play wouldn't have counted anyway, but what a great throw from Simeon Evans. I mean, you can't drop it in the bucket better than that. A perfect throw and right through the grasp of Justin Kimber, who you should know, in case you don't, fantastic wide receiver. 3-star recruit on his way to UL Monroe. He's a fantastic football player, but not the play that he wanted right there for sure. First down and 20. And no gain on the carry by Deuce Jones. I beg your pardon, it's Ricky Madison on the carry. But John, to your point, the missed opportunities for Mansfield Timberview, that's been the story of the second half so far for the Wolves. The interception return by Preston Starks that ended up as a touchback, and now the incompletion there on a deep ball to Kimber. They swing it near side here for Deuce Jones, and the speed of the Alito defense on display right there, stringing that out for maybe a yard. John, just look at the flow here. All these white jerseys coming to cut Deuce Jones down.
Yeah, Mike, I don't know who runs their pursuit drills over there at Alito, but they have mastered the pursuit drill, getting to the football, getting as many white jerseys around the ball as possible. And, I mean, that's always a plus for your defense and creating a 3rd and long here for Timberview.
3rd and 19. Have to get to the 39 on Alito's side of the field for a first down. Deep ball over the middle. It's Kimber. This time he hangs on. Nice catch, and he stays on his feet. He's going to have enough for the first down. Great fight from Justin Kimber, the senior wide receiver, to move the sticks on 3rd and 19.
Yeah, right there, just running the dig route across the middle of the field. The middle of the field is wide open for Kimber to come up with a big catch and stay on his feet to pick up a first down right there and get this Timberview offense going. They have to score on this drive, Mike.
Evans, handoff up the middle. It's Ricky Madison again. Give him 4 on the carry. Evans going to keep it himself here. And, I mean, he's a half a step away there, John.
Yeah.
He's a half a step away from getting through that hole. Credit to the Alito defense for making the play, but only just barely.
Yeah, I mean, Caden Anderson right there just finishing the tackle on Simeon Evans. I mean, like you said, just a slither away from standing on his feet and potentially picking up an even greater gain.
3rd down and 3. Pistol formation. Evans pressured. Gets outside the pocket, throws for Deuce Jones, and somehow makes a bobbling catch for a first down.
Wow. Great catch. Great catch by Deuce Jones right there. I mean, just a nice soft pass, a little bit behind him, but just keeping his concentration and coming up with the catch right there for a first down. Great job by Deuce Jones.
So 1st and 10 at the 24. As you mentioned earlier, Alito has to have 7 points on this drive right here. Down 3 scores. I suppose a field goal can help you. Down 17, a field goal is helpful, but they would much prefer 7 here as we're approaching the midway point of quarter number 4, and that ball's knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Caden Anderson getting his big paw on it.
Yeah, I mean, Caden Anderson has had 2 big plays this drive right there. He's kind of faked the rush upfield and just kind of hung back trying to see if they was going to get the ball out into the flats, and right there just doing his job and knocking down the ball to create a second down. But as you mentioned, Mike, Timberview has to score on this drive. I mean, 3 is all right. That's okay. But you got to come up with 7 or more right here to give yourselves a chance in this ball game.
7 minutes, 11 seconds to play in the 4th quarter of the 5-5A D2 district championship game. Deep ball over the middle and a flag in double coverage. Justin Kimber draws the pass interference. Take another look at this one here, John. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. He definitely made some early contact right there. And you know, Mike, believe it or not, if you're a DB coach right here in that moment, you're not upset because, yes, you give up a 15-yard penalty. You do give them 4 more tries, but you saved a potential touchdown. So you're not necessarily upset with that play and the result of it, but, you know, it's definitely not a penalty that you would like to have on your stat sheet. But, you know, save the touchdown, to say the least.
The penalty sets up 1st and goal at the 9. Evans at a shotgun. Deuce Jones in the sidecar to the right. Just over 7 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Evans scrambling, has the corner. Can he get to pay dirt? Leaps into the end zone. Touchdown, Timberview.
That young man is fearless, Mike. I mean, he didn't have the fade route out here to the field, to the near side of the field that he wanted. So he just raced to the end zone and just lunged into the end zone. I mean, as fearless as can be, he understands that his team needs to score on this drive. So great job of getting into the end zone and cutting it down to a 9-point lead.
Now, this is interesting. Timberview doesn't need to go for 2, but they've missed 2 consecutive PATs, so I think they're just electing to go for 2. Simeon Evans is trying to call for them to reset the play clock. They're not going to do that. Now they finally do. Flag on the play. Evans pressured, end zone, incomplete. We'll check the flag. It was thrown by the near side line judge. Looks like it's against the defense, offside against the Alito defense, so Timberview's going to get another shot at this. So yeah, the math, John, doesn't really help Timberview to go for 2 or not go for 2. Even if they were to score 2 touchdowns, get 2 2-point conversions, they'd still be down by a point. But I think the thought process here from James Brown and company is we've missed our last 2 PAT attempts.
Yeah.
Just go for 2 and try and get the points where you can. And I don't think they're having any thoughts really of a field goal right now, given the fact that they've struggled the way they have on PATs so far tonight.
Yeah, every opportunity you can get to score more points, I mean, absolutely take it at all costs. I mean, so I'm not mad at Coach Brown in going for 2 right here.
They get another shot at here from a couple of yards closer. Evans going to try and keep it himself, flips it into the end zone for Deuce Jones, and they get 2 more. Nice catch. Tell you what, Deuce Jones, especially for a running back, and I think you can probably just strike the phrase for a running back from that sentence, has great hands.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just to go back to that 3rd and short play earlier in the drive where Evans kind of put it behind him a little bit on his back shoulder, and he still came up with the catch to convert it. And then right there, a nice little shovel pass, a little quick in traffic to come up with 2-point conversion. I mean, yeah. Safe to say, Deuce has some hands, Mike. I mean, take the running back label off of it. This young man has some hands.
The catch he made with the ball behind him on a key 1st down conversion earlier in the drive. I'm not sure how he was able to contort his body, get a piece of that, and kind of juggle it to himself for a catch. And then a great catch on what was a rifle from Simeon Evans on the little shovel pass. Here's the play we're talking about from a couple moments ago, ranging behind him to make the catch. Great work from our director, Clay Marshall, to pull that one back up and give you guys a look at the play we're talking about. Great hands from Deuce Jones and 2 key points. And it's down to a 9-point Alito lead here with 6 minutes and 56 seconds to play in quarter number 4. Now an onside kick here, and it doesn't get the bounce Timberview needed. The surprise onside from James Brown and Timberview as Tin Win put a good foot on it, and it just didn't get that high bounce that they wanted. Nearly pulled it off. Alito was not expecting it, and they had nobody in the vicinity.
Not at all. I mean, just gave it a straight line drive, a fast ball right there. And I honestly do believe, Mike, had it got at least 1 hop out of it, at least 1, Timberview could have had a chance to come up with a big play to call a surprise onside kick right there. So, you know, another opportunity that could have been taken and executed well.
So now, though, it's incumbent upon this Timberview defense to make a stop when they've given good field position to the Alito Bearcats. Handoff for Roberts, slips through a couple of tacklers and picks up 6 on the first play of the possession. He just slithers when he runs.
He does. He has some vision, Mike. He has some vision for a cornerback that has, you know, definitely played a ton of running back this season for his team, and this young man can definitely run the football in the backfield. And so, you know, I love the fact that they're, you know, taking the ball game through him. He's had a wonderful night in the backfield and picking up 5 yards at a time.
2nd down and 4 here. Fowler Nicolosi, who has done a more than admirable job filling in a quarterback tonight for Alito. Hands off to Roberts here for another 2, and it'll be 3rd down and 2. We should note Timberview only with 2 timeouts left here in this second half. They did have to waste one after the interception return.
Yeah.
They did not have all 11 defenders on the field and had to waste that timeout. I almost think James Brown would say, that wasn't a wasted timeout. That gave me more of an opportunity to yell at the officials about the ruling on the interception return that was called a touchback. We should note, correctly called. It was the right call.
Yeah.
That ball was out before the ball crossed the goal line. And it was ruled a touchback for Alito, but just that close to a pick 6 for Timberview that could have really changed this second half. Roberts straight forward, right at that 1st down marker. I think he's got it, but only just barely, and they indeed will move the sticks. 1st and 10, and you can see the reaction there from Terrell Tillman in the foreground, just bowing back like, how is that a 1st down? They're like, it almost seems like right now he's saying, can we measure it? Like, do something, but they move the sticks. It's 1st and 10, Alito.
Yeah, absolutely. They've just been, you know, pounding the ground right here late in the ball game. 5 minutes left. And, you know, just a great job again by just getting 5 yards at a time and continue to keep the chains moving.
Under 5 minutes to play, 4th quarter. Roberts, left guard, stood up. Maybe gained 2 on the play. A little bit of extracurriculars after the play. No flag, at least not yet. And cooler heads prevail. Comment here from user Lurk in the YouTube feed, and he makes a good point. I mentioned that Braden Fowler Nicolosi is the backup quarterback for Alito, as Brant Hayden, the starter, is not playing tonight. He's in a COVID quarantine, doesn't have it himself, but had a close contact, so he has to be off the field and out of the program, frankly, for a 2-week period of time. Hayden himself isn't really the planned starting quarterback, at least not prior to this season. Ethan McBriar was the planned starting quarterback preseason, tore his ACL on the first day of full contact in fall camp. So Hayden was thrust into action, the sophomore, and has played, frankly, admirably, and I think they really like his future within this program. He's really done a nice job of settling into that role, but he can't play tonight, so Fowler Nicolosi, their 3rd different quarterback this season. I guess technically McBriar never started a game this season, but he was their planned starter. Now option number 3 for Alito. Penalty here prior to the snap turns it into 2nd down and 13. 4:05 to play. It is still a 2-possession game. Alito up 9, and as the clock winds, it's now under 4 minutes. Timberview needs a stop, and it needs to be on this set of downs right here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to give themselves a chance, they cut the lead down to 9, and so they still have a chance, but they got to create some kind of turnover here right now.
Fowler Nicolosi hits B.J. Fleming, and that's going to make 3rd down manageable. They mark him out of bounds at the 36-yard line. It'll be 3rd down, and it looks like about 3. They have to get to the 31 to pick up a 1st down. Clock does stop as he was knocked out of bounds, so that's a benefit for Timberview.
And Mike, just to touch on that point a little bit about being down to your 3rd quarterback, I mean, that's a true testament of a program. Even down to your 3rd quarterback, you're still finding ways to win, so that's a true testament to their program.
Big 3rd down here. Timberview needs a stop desperately. Roberts fighting forward, but stood up, and Timberview will get the stop here. It's going to be 4th down and maybe 2. Maybe you got a half a yard there on 3rd and 3. Clock continues to wind. Timberview electing to hold tight to those 2 precious timeouts. Alito, it appears, is going to keep their offense on the football field. If they can pick up the 3 yards they need here, that would effectively end the game. all but anyway. Timberview does still have the timeout, so they could get the ball back, but being down 2 scores, the stop has to come here. Alito's going to let the play clock expire here and call timeout. 2:52 to play here, 4th quarter. Friday Night Football on the WFAA YouTube channel. We do appreciate you guys being with us tonight. 1,700 of you with us right now on YouTube Live. Mike Leslie and John D. Arce here at Vernon Newsom Stadium in Mansfield. Clay Marshall, our director. Dwayne Watkins, our photographer. Nick Blackhall, our digital coordinator, back in-house punching buttons. And Don Hazen, the technical director. Sean Hamilton, the executive producer of Friday Night Football. This is broadcast number 13 of 14 in this Friday Night Football season. Next week on Friday Night Football, the #1 Denton Ryan Raiders host #8 Frisco Lone Star, the 2 best teams in that district by a pretty wide margin, if we're being frank. What should be a fantastic football game in Denton, which makes the challenge just that much bigger for Lone Star. Denton Ryan is a juggernaut.
Yep.
We saw them earlier this year beat a very good 6A team in Denton Geyer. But that'll be their biggest test in district play all this season. Out of the timeout, 4th down and 3 here for Alito. JoJo Earl in at quarterback, trying to end it with a 1st down. Takes the snap, coming near side. Strung out and taken down. He won't get the 1st down. Timberview gets the stop they need. It's only the first link in the chain, John, of what they still need to have happen here in the final 2 minutes and 46 seconds. There's a lot of work to be done in order to come back still being down 2 scores. But a big stop here as the tackle's made on JoJo Earl for no gain. And it's Timberview football.
Yeah, Mike, I mean, right here, I mean, great job of getting off the field right there. But on offense, I mean, Mike, you got to go blazing fast right now because the clock is definitely working against them. Alito ate up a lot of that 4th quarter with the ball, and so they got to go really, really, really fast here, Mike, with a lot of ground to still make up.
Evans on 1st and 10, stepping up in the pocket, firing over the middle. Baron Loftus makes the catch at his knees. Pickup of 6 on the play. Got a shout out for our man John D. Arce in the YouTube feed. Kendall Bowie says, D. Arce from Monroe, question mark?
Kendall, that's me. What's up, man? That is me.
People watching from all over the place here on Friday Night Football. Deep ball over the middle. Deuce Jones, another 1st down. This is a running back who can play wide receiver, folks. Big catch up the seam at 1st and 10 Timberview.
Yeah, Mike, that's the play that they went to in the first half before the half ended with Deuce Jones going across the middle. So great job of coming right back to it in the time where they needed it most.
Evans trying to scramble outside the pocket. Can he get to the sideline? He does. James Brown, the head coach from Timberview, Johnny on the spot to tell the line judge, yes, he got out of bounds. Yes, the clock should stop. 2:07 to play as he picked up maybe 2 on the scramble. Ball sits on the 36. Timberview still with those 2 timeouts. They've done a nice job of saving those as best they can, but they do need 2 scores here in the final 2:07 to come back on Alito. 3 wides to the top of the formation for Evans. Over the middle, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Justin Kimber.
Yeah, right there. I mean, great opportunity to take a shot. I mean, they leave in the middle of the field open right there for Kimber. You would just want to see Kimber as a receiver to come a little bit more flat when you're just that wide open to kind of make the target a little bit better for Evans. But, I mean, I gotta give my hats off to the Alito defensive front. They are creating some penetration up front, Mike, putting pressure on Evans.
And they've been doing it most of the night with only 4. They sent 5 here on 3rd and 8. Evans throwing far side, complete, 1st down. First and 10 at the 22. It's his brother Titus Evans on the reception, and they'll race back to the line of scrimmage and snap it again. Evans, deep, end zone for Kimber, and just a bit too tall.
I love it, Mike. I mean, pick up the 1st down inside your 30 and take a shot to the end zone. You absolutely have to. And, I mean, great ball placement, great route by Kimber. I think Kimber just kind of ran out a little bit of gas. They've been having to go really, really fast on this drive. And had it been some fresh legs in there, I mean, could have potentially come up with a catch. But great job of going to the end zone.
Prior to 2nd down and 10, Alito uses their first time out here in the second half. The 5-5A Division II District Championship game here on Friday Night Football. Number 2 Alito, the 2-time defending state champions in 5A D2, and the number 7 team in the state at this level, the Timberview Wolves. Alito with a 93-game win streak in district play. They have not lost a district football game since October 5th of 2007, a span, John, of 4,795 days. It's been a minute since Alito lost a district game.
Oh, yeah, Mike, a lot of time.
I was a sophomore in college. You were probably, what, like 12?
Could have been 11 maybe. We talking 4,000 days. 07, yeah, I was about 11, 12 years old. That's about 7th grade, I think, 4,000 days. Goodness gracious, that's a program for you, Mike.
They're trying to extend it tonight. They lead by 9, and the false start. It's Dayton Robinson, the right tackle. Credit to the Alito defense. They sent a blitzer to the line of scrimmage, and it created the jump on the right side of the line from Robinson, the senior. And it'll be 2nd down and 15 after the penalty. Minute 47 to play. Frankly, it doesn't have that much impact. Timberview needs 27 yards, not 15. They need much more than a first down. They need a touchdown, and they need it quickly. Evans, pressure in his face, end zone, double coverage, and that will absolutely draw a flag. No question on that one. DeMarcus Isaac, the intended receiver, and he got bumped long before the football got there.
Now, right there, Mike, right there, that last little move right there by the receiver, I mean, to jump back into the DB. That's
a veteran move.
That's a veteran move right there. I mean, if you can't get to it, jump back into the DB. So great job right there of using that veteran move right there. I mean, that is huge. DeMarcus Isaac, I mean, great job, young man. Great job of using a veteran move in a very, very clutch moment of the ball game.
Sets up 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line. Worth noting, too, Cap Mooney, the young man who was called for the pass interference there, number 35, their linebacker. One of the best young players in this Alito program. A big piece of their future, but just a sophomore. And, you know, sometimes, as Tim Buckhannon has said to me before, sophomores sometimes make sophomore mistakes. That's why they're called sophomore mistakes. 1st and 10, Evans over the middle, caught short of the line to gain, down to the 5-yard line. It's Titus Evans, his brother, again on the reception, and they'll race back to the line of scrimmage. Under 90 seconds to play now in the 4th. Dayton Robinson having to hustle to the sideline. All 6'5", 312 pounds of them racing near side. Now a flag down. Flag sitting in the end zone. It's going to be an illegal formation, illegal shift against the Timberview offense. So that's going to steal back 5 of the yards they gained on the hookup from Evans to Evans. 2nd down and 8 now at the 10. 80 seconds to play, 4th quarter. Timberview needs a touchdown here, and then they also need an onside kick recovery and another score. Evans. Too tall for Deuce Jones and incomplete. He was open behind the defender. Jones had beaten Keenan Hess. He had beaten Keenan Hess, but Hess did a good job, John, of at least being in that passing lane. Made the throw a little bit tougher for Simeon Evans.
Absolutely. Evans would have had to gently put it over the top of his head, but with all the pressure in his face, Mike, I mean, he had no time.
3rd and 8. They throw it over the middle, but flags before a flag before the snap, a false start against Timberview. What could have been the touchdown that Timberview needed, and in quick fashion. And it's the wide receiver on the near side, the young man who made the veteran play we were talking about before, DeMarcus Isaac, in that spot. Happy feet on the left side of the offensive formation, I should say. And that's going to make it 3rd down and 13.
Yeah, Mike, I mean, Timberview has picked up more penalty yardage than they have offensive yardage in this drive, and that will hurt you.
3rd and 13. Evans throwing right side, incomplete, looking for his brother Titus. And it's going to be 4th and ball game with 65 seconds to play here in the 4th. Evans with 4 prime targets on the outside. Evans, Justin Kimber, Baron Loftus, Andre Williams all have had fantastic seasons, but they need to come up with a big play here. Evans, end zone, looking for Samarian Chambliss, incomplete, no flags. Turnover on downs, Alito will take it back with a minute to play, and the win streak is primed to go to 94.
Yeah, Mike, I love the play call, just calling the smash concept, getting the corner route going. I think the wind just kind of got under that ball for Evans, and Chambliss just didn't have an opportunity to get to the ball. But, I mean, gave him a shot, gave him an opportunity. It just, just kind of hurt him here where it counted most.
$4,795 days without a loss in district play. About to be a 94th consecutive district win as DeMarco Roberts carries for 5. It is just incredible when you think about what they have built at Alito. Mm-hmm. Tim Buchanan's club was, frankly, prime to be picked off tonight.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
This was the if you're kind of prognosticating, you've got a Timberview team that is, frankly, and this is a fantastic Timberview football team. Let me make that abundantly clear. The best team probably that Alito has played in district play in these 13 years.
Yeah.
I don't think they've played a team as talented as Timberview in district over the entirety of this 93-game stretch. About to be 94 in 55 seconds. So you're playing the best opponent you have the whole stretch. You're coming off of 3 weeks' worth of not playing because your team's been in a COVID quarantine, so you've hardly been able to practice or do much of anything. Oh, and by the way, your starting quarterback is still in that COVID quarantine, so he's not playing tonight. And despite all of that, Alito goes on the road and wins their 94th straight district game. Timeout called here. I believe that was the signal by the near sideline judge, with 48 seconds to play here in the 4th quarter. Credit to Timberview, they're not giving up in any way, shape, or form here. Trying to make something of these final few seconds of the football game and perhaps get the football back with 48 seconds on the clock. Even if Alito does have to punt here, now that Timberview is down to 0 timeouts remaining, Alito can let the entirety of the play clock bleed off, and you're looking at punting the ball away with inside of 10 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
Don't forget to make that important call if you need to call for a ride.
Mike, just to go back to your point real quick about, all the adversity against Alito tonight. I mean, you could have easily written this game off if you're Alito. There's so many things that are against you, but they just found a way to win. I mean, and that's a testament to a 93 game, about to be 94 game win streak. I mean, it's just.
And look at DeMarco Roberts, and how about that as a way to finish it? 72 yards, DeMarco Roberts to the end zone. And Alito with the exclamation point on 94 straight.
Yeah. I mean, you can't argue with it, Mike. I mean, this young man has been playing some phenomenal football tonight, and then just to cap off the game with just showing the burners right there. I mean, I don't know. I may need to just call over to Lamar tomorrow, Mike, and just let him know, hey, you guys have a phenomenal running back coming to you. next year. This young man has been playing some football here tonight. So great job right there capping off the drive, capping off the game with the long run by DeMarcus Roberts.
And how about this? We talked about it a little bit earlier. The fact that in this district win streak for Alito, only one game in this entire stretch has been a one-score game. That was last year against Midlothian, a game that went to overtime. Alito won 34-28. The next closest game, a 35-26 win over Boswell. Only two other games were even two-score games. They beat Saginaw 22-7 in 2008. They beat Southwest out of Fort Worth 24-8 in 2012. This now is going to reflect a two-score. It's a 16-point game, 44-28. It will be a two-score game when this is all said and done, barring anything else being tacked onto the scoreboard in these final 35 seconds. Alito does not play close games in district. Now, this was a close game. Let's be honest. This was a close game throughout. Credit to Mansfield Timberview. They're going to be a hellaciously tough out in the postseason.
Yeah.
You're looking at very likely Mansfield Timberview against Ennis in the second round of the playoffs, and that is going to be a sensational football game. But it's just mind-blowing what Alito has done over the course of the last now 13 seasons. That ball's loose, and that's actually going to be Alito football on the kickoff as it went through the hands of Deuce Jones, an awkward kickoff. And Alito recovers, and just a kneel down away now from a 94th consecutive district win and a 13th consecutive district championship for the Alito Bearcats.
Yeah, Mike, that was Ricky Madison right there, fumbling that kickoff return.
Yes, Madison,
Ricky
not
Madison.
Jones.
But to go back to your point about Alito, I spent a little bit of a time over there in Alito this week, and if you haven't been through that community, you need to go. There's a different kind of energy, type of vibe in that community where it's very small, it's very, home-like, and people there really, really do support each other. So, I mean, not only is it a great football program, but a great community to be in and be a part of.
And kind of a cool moment right there. That's Ethan McBrayer, number 4. That's a young man who tore his ACL on the first day of full contact in practice in fall camp. He's been trying it. They're calling it a partial tear. They're hopeful anyway that it's a partial tear. They're hoping he might be able to get back on the football field at some point this season. He's not been able to play all year, but as they put the finishing touches on a district championship, it's Ethan McBrayer, the senior, coming out on the field and taking the kneel down to put it on ice for the Alito Bearcats. 13 consecutive district championships, 94 consecutive district wins. Alito with a 44-28 win over Timberview. That's a pretty cool moment. That's a cool thing to do by Tim Buchanan and the Alito coaching staff. That's a young man who would have been starting for the first time this year. They were looking for a new quarterback for this year, and he was supposed to be their guy in his senior year and has not been able to play all this season. I don't know for certain that that's his first snap all season. I haven't seen every Alito football game this year. I've only seen 2. But I'd bet pretty heavily that's the first time he has seen the field this year in what was supposed. I'm sure he came into August thinking, this is my year. Yeah. We're going to go win a 3rd straight state championship, and I'm going to be the guy, and we're going to go do this. And tears his ACL on the first day of full contact. That's a pretty cool moment to have him be able to go out on the football field and take that kneel down and finish off a 94th consecutive district win for the Alito Bearcats in a 13th straight district championship.
Oh yeah, Mike. I mean, it just goes back to the testament of that community and how much they just, they love each other as a community. And it's not, certain guys that they support. They support everyone. I mean, from the elementary all the way up to the high school. I cannot think of the exact wording on those signs in that community, but it says something about creating the next generation of champions or winners or something like that, but it's a common phrase that their community uses. And I mean, it's definitely displayed here tonight as they let their hopeful quarterback, McBrayer, to come in and take a knee right there to ice the game. I mean, it's just a phenomenal moment to see in sports, period.
44-28 the final score in what was a closer football game than that all night long. It was a battle between these two teams. Timberview started the scoring off. Simeon Evans with a 3-yard touchdown run just 3.5 minutes in, and Timberview came racing out of the gates. Their defense created a 3-and-out by Alito. The offense drove right down the football field, and 3.5 minutes in, it was 8-0 Timberview. Alito, though, answered back in a big way. JoJo Earl with back-to-back short touchdown runs, then a touchdown reception from 46 yards out, and it was 22-8 in favor of Alito. They scored those 3 touchdowns in a 6-minute and 18-second span. After that, it was basically back and forth the entire rest of the night. Simeon Evans, a 5-yard touchdown run, cut the lead to 8. Fowler Nicolosi hit B.J. Allen for his second touchdown pass of the day. Allen from 28 yards out, 29-14 Alito. Timberview with what still may be the play of the game, the Simeon Evans to Ram Stevenson 25-yard touchdown pass at the end of the second quarter, cut it to 9 at the halftime break. But really the story of the second half was the Alito defense and the plays they made early on in the third quarter. The fumble they created, more than anything, it was just an unfortunate play for Simeon Evans, riding in the hip of Deuce Jones, the running back, and bounced it off his own knee, I believe, and the fumble was recovered by Caden Anderson. Alito turns that into the DeMarco Roberts 1-yard touchdown run, and that 2-point conversion, that sneaky little 2-point conversion from Tim Buchanan and JoJo Earl ran it in and created a 3-possession lead for Alito at 37-20, and they were able to just kind of keep Timberview at bay the rest of the way. Simeon Evans with a 9-yard touchdown run midway through the fourth quarter made it a 9-point game once again, and Timberview did drive all the way down deep into Alito territory, trying to cut it to a 1-possession game there in the final minute and a half, but they weren't able to convert on 4th down and 13, and then Alito with the late score there from Roberts in the final minute to put the finishing touches on a 44-28 win. Alito moves to 5-1 on the year. Timberview suffers their first loss of the season and falls to 6-1. And now this sets the playoff structure out of this district. Alito will be the number 1 seed. Timberview will be the number 2 seed. And that means Timberview in week 2 of the playoffs is lined up to play against the number 1 team in the state in 5A Division II, the Ennis Lions, a truly complete football team. Offensively, defensively, they can do just about everything. And they've won every game that they've played this year in comfortable fashion. This is a Timberview team that I think can absolutely test them.
Yeah.
I think this is a Timberview team that can win that football game. Simeon Evans, what we've seen of him over the course of the season, we got a chance to see 2 Mansfield Timberview football games this year, and Simeon Evans is a truly impressive quarterback that can lead his football team to, I guess people would call that an upset win if they knock off Ennis in that second round of the playoffs, but not by that much. And he's got the goods to go make that happen. This defense is good enough to play with that very talented Ennis offense. That one's going to be a sensational football game. Mark that one down as the area round game that you want to go to this year. Meanwhile, for Alito, now the number 1 seed, and whether it's Timberview or Ennis that comes out of that game, Alito figures to be waiting on the other side of the bracket for the winner of that game. Yeah. And we very well may see these two teams playing 4 rounds into the playoffs once again this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Timberview team as a whole, offensively and defensively, they have some heavy hitters. I mean, they have some high-rated recruits, some guys who can play some football. So, I mean, I don't write them off in any fashion. I mean, they still have an opportunity here to, take it as far as they can into the playoffs. And so, to your point, I mean, it's a great job for Alito for securing their place in the number 1 seed spot, and then you just kind of have to wait it out to see who you match up with in the 4th round. But I mean, again, I don't write off Timberview at all. I think they're a phenomenal football team. I think they have a lot of great pieces. It's just, as we've mentioned time and time again, Mike, these costly mistakes and missed opportunities that could kill a football team and kill a game for you here late in the season. 44-28 the final score. Braden Fowler Nicolosi on the night.
as long as these stats are indeed updated, which I'll double check real quick. 8 of 14 for 161 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the 1 interception. And that's something we might as well touch on real quick again, just to kind of round out what happened in the second half of this football game. How different a game could this have been if that interception returned for a touchdown indeed was a touchdown? They ruled it a touchback, and as we've mentioned a couple of times tonight, correctly ruled it a touchback. The ball did break loose of the grasp of Preston Starks inside the 1-yard line, but not quite at the goal line. That was properly ruled a touchback. But imagine if that had broken differently for Timberview, and they would have been driving down the field theoretically. I don't know if you can quite necessarily draw a straight line here to this, but that could have been a drive to take the lead there late in the football game when they weren't able to convert on 4th and 13. Could have very much changed the tenor of this football game. Fowler Nicolosi, 8 of 14, 161 and 2 touchdowns, the 1 pick. DeMarco Roberts finishes with a fantastic stat line. A big part of this, of course, the 72-yard touchdown run late, but 30 carries for 193 yards and 2 touchdowns. JoJo Earl, 15 for 78 and 2 touchdowns. Also had 3 receptions for 68 yards and another score. Brian Allen, 2 for 52 and a touchdown. Brian Fleming, 2 for 38. Jason Llewellyn, 1 catch for 7 yards. Mansfield Timberview, Simeon Evans, 22 of 34, 297 and a touchdown. He did have the 1 interception. Evans also had 14 carries for 47 yards and 3 touchdowns. Deuce Jones bottled up a little bit tonight, 6 carries for 15 yards. He did have a big impact in the passing game, 4 catches for 52 yards. Baron Loftus leads the way for Timberview in the receiving game, 8 catches, 109 yards on the night. Justin Kimber, 3 for 36. Titus Evans, 3 for 29. Andre Williams with 2 for 27. Ram Stevenson with, again, the play of the day, a 25-yard touchdown reception at the end of the first half. And Samarian Shambliss had a catch for 19 yards for Timberview. John, a really entertaining football game between these two teams. Closer, certainly, than the final score would indicate. Back and forth all night long. But credit to Alito. Again, just frankly, apparently, unbeatable in district play. They win a 94th straight.
Yeah, I mean, just a great football game like we anticipated. I mean, we knew that, coming into this ball game, both teams had, a lot of things on their plate. I mean, but Alito coming in with probably the most, coming off a 3-week quarantine period and not having your starting quarterback and just so many things against them. But as they've shown time and time again, and I made, some point to it, in that third quarter, they created plays. Mm-hmm. And as we've seen over the course of weeks, teams that pick up the pace in the third quarter and they actually win the third quarter typically kind of come out with the win at the end of the night. And so Alito has done a great job of that. They found ways to create points, create turnovers, and create more opportunities. And, I mean, you just got to give your hats off to a program like that. I mean, 94 straight. I mean, I don't know a lot of teams that can say that, period.
It's the longest streak in the history of Texas high school football.
Yeah.
By 19 games now. Katy had a 75-game streak snapped earlier this season. That was the closest, and the closest by a pretty wide margin. And it's believed to be, this is kind of hard to do nationwide, but it is believed to be the longest district, conference, whatever different states call it. It's believed to be the longest district win streak across the country in the history of high school football.
Wow.
94 straight district wins now for the Alito Bearcats. That doesn't happen by accident, and wins like tonight are a big part of why they've been able to string this out now for 13 years plus, all the way back to October of 2007. Your final thoughts, John, if there's anything else you want to say about what was kind of a weird football game. We saw some weird plays tonight. The touchdown to Ram Stevenson in the end zone was a little wacky, and of course the interception return from Preston Starks gets knocked out just inside the 1-yard line. There were some weird plays tonight, but a fun game, all things considered.
Yeah, absolutely, man. A fun game, and we just knew it coming to the ball game. There's a lot of great talent out here on the field tonight. I mean, a lot up for grabs, and district championship and seeding for the playoffs. So a lot of different things up for grabs. But you got to see some young men compete tonight, and that's always fun to see, whether it's high school football, college football, even professional. You get to see guys really put it all on the line and give it all up for their team, despite the up and down season we've had with the COVID thing continuing to take place. And so just a phenomenal night of football tonight and a great win by Alito.
4 touchdowns from Simeon Evans, but not quite enough against the 3 touchdowns from JoJo Earle, 2 more from DeMarco Roberts, and Alito with a 44-28 win over Mansfield Timberview to take the 5-5A Division II District Championship. With that, this one is in the books. Our thanks to Coach Tim Buchanan and James Brown for being so generous with their time and information about their 2 teams, not just tonight, but earlier this season as well. A big help with getting us to know these 2 football teams as best as possible. Also to the athletic directors from these 2 schools, Steve Wood and Philip O'Neill. Without their help and support, a broadcast like this is simply not possible. Our photographer is Dwayne Watkins. Our director is Clay Marshall. Our digital coordinator is Nick Blackhall. Our technical director is Don Hazen. And the executive producer of Friday Night Football is Sean Hamilton. For John Diar's here with me in Mansfield, I'm Mike Leslie. Thanks so much for watching tonight. Join us 2 weeks from today for the season finale of Friday Night Football as we head to C.H. Collins Stadium in Denton as number 1 Denton Ryan plays host to number 8 Lone Star with a district title very likely on the line. Thanks for watching Friday Night Football, everyone. So long from Mansfield.